one button draft full blown. Tested a chapter, felt that heat. Now I'm on fire, can't be beat. Plots on lock, my vibe so tight. Dose here, prep day, I took flight. No more waiting, no more drag. My story's lit, I drop the flag. One spark, two click, three. Your first draft, 50K, just like that. Story world on full attack. One spark, two click, three. Your first draft, never looking back again. This is how the authors win. Yeah, used to dread the blank page glare. Now I'm chilling in my author's chair. From vibe to twist, it's all so clean. AI riding with my dream team. Clock is ticking, I don't care. Click that button, boom, right there. DOS is tight, my scene's on blast. Publishing future coming fast. One spark, two click, three. Your first draft, 50,000 straight from soul. Took my vision, made it whole. One spark, two click, three. Your first draft, tell the world I'm not the same. I'm writing books and changing the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Friday party. We are the Future Fiction Academy. And we are so happy to be here. We're going to be celebrating tonight. We're going to be sharing news. We're going to be helping you create your business all night long. At least as long as we can take it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Elizabeth.
4 hours tonight. I am not doing 4 hours tonight.
Okay,
that was the last Friday thing.
Okay, sure. All right. I was surprised at how long it was, and one of our best performing videos we've had in such a long time. 4 hours and over 1,500 people watched a lot of that. A lot of it. The average amount of time people spent on it is like 50 minutes or something like that. That is bonkers to me. That is bonkers.
We had big news last week.
Huh?
We had big news last week.
What do you mean?
With your first draft. And then we had a big week this week.
Yes, we did. We've been beating this thing up, y'all. We have been working so hard on your first draft because we want you to be able to build your future as fast as you want to do it. If you are comfortable making a dossier, making your story known to the AI, and then having it help you write that first draft, you have come to the right place. We are the Future Fiction Academy. We have live courses. We have absolutely the best accelerator to get you ramped up so that you could learn how to use AI when you're writing your fiction. We have tons and tons of standalone courses. We have a mastermind that Elizabeth goes mad on all the time, and we are here to help you. Welcome, 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 everyone. Oh my goodness, look at all of these people. Okay, look, 34 people right now. Hit the like button right this second. And hi, Gracie. Thanks for the show. You made it. Oh, she's coming in for the love. Yes, she is. Anyway, so do me a favor, hit the like button right now, everybody, so that we can get this thing out to as many people as possible, because apparently last week it worked like a charm. Elizabeth.
Yes.
All right. So
I'm doing mischief right now.
Okay. While Elizabeth's doing mischief, I'm going to just say right now, I had my last shift at Starbucks this morning, and it was glorious to finally walk out of there and do this full time. Be here for you all full time. We're going to do more live streams. We're going to actually work on actual stuff together. Maybe I'll do a live stream where we have a write with me in a live stream on YouTube where you all are coming in with your own projects and we're all writing stuff together. We're going to do so many cool things. It's so exciting. Elizabeth, you said
on that note,
oh, yes,
on that note, I just added some cool things to the calendar. So tomorrow at noon Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern on the Notion calendar, you can join me in the lab room, Accelerator people, Mastermind people, and we're going to do some your first drafts. And I have some special things. We have created a 5-chapter free template. So no token. It's a free token. It's going to run with Nano.
Wait, did you say Accelerator people?
Yes, all the Accelerator. Like somebody can literally join the Accelerator right now, the June Accelerator, and you can be with me in class tomorrow at noon playing with your first draft. And you get a free token to run a 30 to 60,000 word novel or novella or novel the minute you, like when you sign up with Accelerator, that you'll be able to use tomorrow. We are still doing it by hand right now. It'll be automatic next week. Listen, I made it very clear. The rest period was for the team, not me. I was running it this weekend. I am on the con for customer service for stuff this weekend, and Steph Pajonas is backing me up as well. So you have me and Steph this weekend. Wow. I spent all day in the salon chair today, so I got a nice rest today. So I am excited for tomorrow.
Doesn't her hair look fabulous, everyone? I
love my hair.
I used to cut hair for a living, and I'm telling you, that is a cute cut. It's a cute cut. Well, because you can do all kinds. This is the great thing about a good cut. You can wear it straight. You can curl it up. You can do all kinds of interesting things with it. You could slick it all back.
Yes,
you can do whatever you want with it.
I also will sometimes put like mousse and make it all voluminous, like I'm a crazed scientist. So there's lots to play with.
Fun. You got any news today?
I do have some news today. Big news this week was that 2 court cases were settled. What got the decision that AI training is not against copyright. I'll say that again.
Yeah, please.
Training on books with or without permission is not a violation of copyright. It is fair use. Now, the judge did rule against Anthropic, saying you can't steal the books, but you weren't allowed to steal the books before. Like that was not a new thing. Like you were never allowed to steal people's books and store them and use them in some capacity that you did not pay for. But if you have purchased a book or you otherwise have the rights to the book, you have the right to train an LLM on this. And I think that this is a very important decision because I think it's paving the way for the fact that eventually all of us are going to have our own LLMs that are trained on like what we want in our own personal stuff. And so we need to have the right that the media and stuff that we encounter on a day-to-day basis could be part of our training for our own LLMs because it is a transformative use case.
Interesting. So you can't just willy-nilly go on the internet and take somebody's PDF of a book and put it in there. But if you purchase the book and you scan the book in.
Yes.
Okay.
Or if the book does not have DRM on it. So if you have the rights, like if you have you buy a license for the book that allows you to do that. Books that have DRM on them, you may not break the DRM. That would be a violation of the DCM, the Digital Millennial Copyright Act. So DMCA, do not break DRM, do not break your licensing to train LLMs. But if you purchase the book, then you could. So Susan says, so we could buy books and train our own LLMs. Cool point. Yes, absolutely. So that also means that our books as authors can be trained by other authors and other companies. It has never been a more important time to understand fine-tuning, to understand LLMs, to understand how to use your own library of works to take advantage of this AI golden age. You know, like if you're sitting, many of us are sitting on huge libraries of books that we have written over the last couple of decades. That can be a very valuable thing if you learn how to leverage
do your own fine tunes.
Yeah. Do your own fine tune.
Which, by the way, until the end of the month, we have half off of our fine tune class, which is a $500 class that you can get now for 200.
No. It's a $1,500 class that you get for $750.
Wait a minute. Oh, I'm thinking of translations.
Yeah, you're thinking of translations.
I think I'm thinking of translations.
Our fine tune class goes into step by step, in depth, two different methods that you can actually take your writing, or apparently other writing that you have the rights to, and how to fashion the prompt to go with it, with your story dossier and then your chapter plan prompt, so that you can literally train a model in OpenAI to write like you with structured fine tuning.
So I could take a book that I bought, a physical book, and then I can use the scan function on my phone and scan those things in, right?
Or you could type it in.
Or type it in.
Yep.
And then have the AI interpret all that stuff, and it can become part of
you could create prompting for it so that the writing style would be one that you could work with.
Okay.
And the reason I suggest typing it in is actually that is a very long tested writing skill exercise, is to take the greats and to start like typing, like say Moby Dick. You do a couple of paragraphs and then you start typing to keep this. You continue the story, trying to keep the same voice. It's a writing exercise that's in a lot of creative writing education curriculums.
We also do that in acting too.
Exactly.
Where we're in the middle of a scene, a well-established scene, and then they break, and then we are to improv the rest of it, but with the same emotional resonance.
Yes.
It's very potent, and it works really well.
As Kimberly says, it's copy work, essentially. Exactly. If you're a painter, you go to the museums and you paint the masters. You try to imitate, and then you start to add your own spin to it.
Wow.
But Susan does say she will not be training any LLM on Moby Dick, because that's not how I want it writing. Same. I also draw the line at Faulkner. There will be no William Faulkner. Or I also really can't stand who's the jerk who was drunk all the time in Florida? He had all the cats. Hemingway. No Hemingway, no Faulkner.
Wait a minute. So your reference to Hemingway is the drunk guy with all the cats?
Yeah, and he was a jerk.
I know he was a jerk. I know he was a jerk. I would have guessed Hemingway easier from you saying jerk.
Wordsmith says, "Yep, I use that technique to teach fiction writing too." And I just want to say that my clues. We should do a game show one Friday night. We should plan some LLM things and let people answer in the chat. We should do that. We should do that for a free token in your first draft.
What's the idea for the game show?
We could do LLM factoids and stuff, things that you should have learned from our YouTube channel, things that we have mentioned before. Some fun stuff.
Factoids.
We may need some help keeping score.
Yes. Factoids. We have to bring in a couple extra people for that.
Yeah. No one writes it the same way, even though they all just read the passage and took notes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, game show. Finish this scene. Guess this famous author by the way they described it.
Oh my goodness. Hey, just so you know, Elizabeth, you got one.
Thank you. Yeah, there was a lot of people who like the hair.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I tell you, I can't stop grinning at it. Like my other ladies know, and maybe my gentlemen in the audience too. But when you have a good hair day, it's a good day. Like
I love a good hair day.
Oh, you have more good hair days than I do, sir.
Yeah, anytime I shave, it's a good hair day.
It's a good hair day.
I shaved like an hour before this thing, so I am smooth right now.
You are always smooth. I have the opposite problem. We have so much hair, me and my daughter, it takes them forever to color it. So like the first thing they did was shave the back. Usually they run out of time. Huh?
Is it thick? It looked really thick when I saw the undercut.
Yeah, I have a lot of hair.
Yeah.
It's like 3 or 4 layers.
Oh my God. I have to tell you, anytime a woman would walk into my salon with hair like that, I'd be like, thank you, God. Because it's very difficult to mess up some hair like that.
Yeah, it is. It just takes a really long time to color it.
Yeah,
So,
it does.
and Caitlin got hers cut short. She's super cute, and she has a split dye job. So she's got one side black and one side completely like white.
Ooh, go ahead, Cruella.
She does look like Cruella. She looks so old. My 16-year-old's all growing up.
Yeah.
Okay, so off the hair thing, some other news today. So we got those court cases. Who didn't waste any time to start saying that they're going to use AI? Hello.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I was too busy. On
the hair,
bombing your hair again. What was it?
Well, thank you.
What'd you say?
So who didn't waste any time to make announcements this morning? It was put in AI writing for authors on Facebook.
Was that
court cases?
Yeah, Penguin Random House and what was the other one?
Ingram Spark was the big announcement this morning.
Ingram Spark, y'all. Ingram Spark.
Yeah. Movie studios also started to announce some things too, some different partnerships. I saw that on the news as well. Listen, there's been a lot of corporations that have been waiting with bated breath on how the courts are going to fall on this issue of training these LLMs. And most of us who have seen this play before they're not going to rule against the billions of dollars of investment. It's just not what they do. So they have to find a
compromise. And that was the reason why they said you can't steal it.
No,
you can own it, but if you own it.
But if you have the rights to it, you don't own it, but you have the rights to it.
Yeah. Then, yeah. Well, if you own it, or if you have the rights to it. Now, if you own the physical copy, then that automatically gives.
Because if you own the book, you don't have the right to like print copies of it and distribute it.
No, so but you can train an LLM on.
Yeah, you have access to it. Exactly. So if you have the right to the access, if you have right of access, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For sure.
Boy.
And now there might be some appeals.
There will be.
But I think a lot of companies are going to feel a lot safer moving forward with this because it's like it's unlikely to get appealed so back. So yeah. And this is a good thing. Daniel Crotty. So I can buy a 1-cent book in a yard sale. Good deal. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yes. So all those old pulps now have value to them if they aren't already in the. But here's the thing. A lot of these older books are already in the training data set. When they stole books, they stole hundreds of thousands of books. They were not light with the theft of the books. It was not.
Yeah, I was just thinking. You remember, Olivia's library? Oh, remember how big her library is?
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap!
So, under fair use, can we copy our favorite passages from books we own and train our AI tools on those? According to the courts, yes, you can. According to the court case against Anthropic and against Meta this week. So it was 2 separate court cases that ruled training LLMs is fair use. Now, why is it considered fair use? And it has to do with the transformative aspect of this. So there may even still be some more nuance down the line. And again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a publishing professional. There may be more nuances in terms of like, what is the purpose of the training? And I'll give you an example. If you train, say, a ChatGPT agent to just spit out large passages of copyrighted works, word for word, that's not training an LLM. Okay? You're actually taking pieces and distributing them and displaying them. If you, however, take pieces to a fine tune or to actually like a much bigger project, which costs money, a lot more money than a fine tune, to train a full model, the LLM is designed not to repeat those passages word for word. But if you were to use AI in a way that is pulling passages of books or pulling chapters of books as a retrieval mechanism and then displaying them, that would not be protected by these court cases.
Now, remember, y'all, this is a clarification of some statements that we personally have made in the past, where we used to tell you, all right, look, if you do this and it shows up in some kind of weird way in your thing, then you might be liable. But now we have legal backing. We have actual precedents, which is so important in 2 different cases. Precedents.
Right.
So that's really going to take a lot of the pressure off of like the major corporation and our major corporation. Our major corporation too. So we're going to be using these new tools and doing some very interesting things in the future. I'm super excited about it actually, because that means we can we use it for fine tuning then?
We can use it for fine tuning. And that's why I say I caution. It's fine to use it for fine tuning. It's fine to use it for training for an LLM.
Can't be overfit though. You know what I mean?
Even if you overfit it, it's not going to. It's like, let me tell you about what happens when you overfit a fine tune. You do not get the training data. You get absolute gibberish.
Yes,
you get hallucinations of the nth degree. It's like, oh God, the computer is vomiting on my screen, and it's just word salad. It's not even words necessarily. It's all these like special characters and weirdness. That's what an overfit LLM does. So.
I hope that you all enjoyed our enthusiasm at the beginning of this live stream. Anybody that's joining us now, do me a favor, hit the like button right down in the bottom so that more people can see this. And if you haven't seen the beginning, watch the replay in the beginning because we were on fire.
And I want to encourage people to sign up for the Accelerator. The June Accelerator is ending. It's coming. The cohort is coming to a close. And people have been asking me today. I actually got a message on Facebook today about someone who was like, June is ending, so I can't join. I've got to wait till July, right? No. As a matter of fact, if you consider yourself to be an advanced or intermediate AI user, joining at the end of the month is your best bet because you go ahead and you join. You skip.
Oh, yeah.
You skip 3 weeks of waiting. And basically in the middle of your second month, you're going to have full access to the mastermind. Although now with the year first draft and all of that, I'm going to talk to the founders and we're going to talk about maybe the mastermind having access to the fine tune starting July 15th. I'm going to send it up the flagpole, guys. I'm going to advocate for it because I think we're ready. I think we have enough infrastructure in place. Especially as most of the mastermind classes are going to be turning into year first draft classes. And so we really need Accelerator and mastermind to be there. We don't want to hold Accelerator back.
Oh, interesting. So that's an exciting development, everyone. And yeah, it is true. There have been in the May Accelerator, there were some kind of like advanced students in that, and they still needed the foundations and some of the stuff and nomenclature and all of that stuff. They really did.
There was a couple of people who asked to move ahead. I think only 1 or 2 people got to actually move ahead. And that's because they had actually done some of our standalone classes in the past or been like really big followers of the YouTube channel. So they had already been doing our techniques and all of that. You did not have to brag, Danny. You did not have to brag. That you did not have to brag.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Danny.
But there were some people that were like, I'm intermediate, I need to move ahead. And we were like, do the homework. If you turn your homework in, we'll consider it. And then they started to go do their homework and they were like, oh, I am not as advanced as I thought I was. And that's just because we have a very specific way of working with AI. And it's a lot deeper than just pretend you're a New York City editor and write me an outline for a best-selling romance novel. We're way deeper than that.
Did you see on AI writers? Sorry, what is the name of our group? I mean, not our group. The group that Steph's the admin on.
Yeah, I'm an admin there too. AI writing for authors.
Okay, so on AI writing for authors, there was literally just a thing, and someone was complaining about, I use ChatGPT and these things keep happening. Can I just make a suggestion, everyone? Because I know a lot of people watch this. Do me a favor. There's this program that's completely free that's called RaptorWrite. If you go down in the link in the description below, you can go over to RaptorWrite.
It's almost free. You have to pay for your API.
Oh, I was about to say.
Yeah, okay.
I was about to say. It's an absolutely free program that you can get, and you can take that, and you can take your own, bring your own large language model, which obviously you would have to pay for. Because
bring your own open router key. We don't.
Oh, well, no.
You guys
Oh,
bring in stuff from the staff meeting, sir, that we
oh,
talk about as the future. Or we cannot support your own LLM yet on OpenRouter
no.
or
What
on RaptorWrite. All you can do is bring your OpenRouter key, not your own LLM.
I thought we had a upgrade function.
Would you stop? You can buy the upgrade for $80 and bring your OpenAI key and all of that, but that's not free.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, what thing am I talking about that we were talking about in the back?
Can we time out? Okay, OpenRouter guys. RaptorWrite. You got me messed up now. Thanks.
Sorry, y'all. This is sorry about this hot mess. Go ahead.
RaptorWrite is free, and you can put $5 into OpenRouter, bring that one API key in, and get started. Okay, you can get started for $5. The $5 doesn't go to us. It goes to OpenRouter for the LLM. It's a really great tool for people to just get started. And then from there, there's Plot Drive, where you bring your own API keys. They are also working on some super secret stuff too that I can't disclose yet, but obviously expect some big announcements next month from them. They've got some things to make things even easier for people to learn. But it's all about, and then once you use RaptorWrite, you may decide you don't even like RaptorWrite or Plot Drive, and you like Novel Crafter. Novel Crafter also lets you bring in your own API key.
And so can I be real? And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be real about Novel Crafter. It is a great Scrivener replacement. Yes. Holy crap, is it a great Scrivener replacement? So if that's what you want to do, you could do that too. I don't have any links in the below for that. You can go search that out yourself. But you could use that if you have the if you want to be kind of guided through an experience completely. Go over to Pseudowrite. I mean, there is a lot of options other than Chat GPT in the chat or Claude in the chat, because everything spirals out of control. Claude only has a certain amount of context, and so does Chat GPT. So there's these weird trade-offs that you do. Go get yourself a real rapper, and try out some AI writing tools.
I want to address something here because Novel Crafter and Typing Mind can do local LLMs. I agree. That's fantastic for them. It is my fault that we did not prioritize local LLMs, because you have to remember, as early as we got started, the local LLMs were crap. I mean, really, really bad. In 2023, early 2023, mid 2023, it was like April 2023 was the first time I really saw one run on a computer that was decent writing, and it wrote this slow. Yeah. And as Kim says, they are just now only getting good. So as CEO, and like I kind of set the vision and the strategic with input from everybody, but it's my job to set like what are our priorities. I made the active choice that we were not going to prioritize resources on local LLMs, given the fact that most authors we serve don't even have computers that could run them. And that was a choice that I made. Is it time to start researching and experimenting with this? Yes, especially now that we have more models coming out that could run us on an M1 chip. They're starting to make models that are local that can run on your phone. So this is definitely an area that in the last 2 years, there has been a lot of gains. And I would say now it's the it's a good time to start kind of like for it to start getting our attention.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was undoing. And Kim said totally.
There we go. Totally understandable, but I do see them becoming more common in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's talk about what we did put our resources into.
What did we put our resources into, Elizabeth?
Well, the first big one that we did that we open sourced is the Easy Peasy Book Machine. There is a great Easy Peasy Book Machine class if you want it, but there's tons of free training on the Easy Peasy Book Machine right here on this YouTube channel. If you
because it's a concept. It's not. It is not a strategy. It is a concept. So as long as you understand the concept, you can build any kind of easy peasy book machine specifically to whatever you're doing yourself. So please go watch some free stuff or get our standalone class. Yes. They're both worth it.
Yep.
The time you spend watching it is worth it.
In the Easy Peasy Book Machine, the crux of it is make a plan, write a draft, make an editing plan, now make a final. Boom. And this is not rocket science. This is not much different from what I can remember in school, where we had to do pre-writing, and then we had to do a draft, and then we had to like mark it up, and then we had to do a final. And I hated that system so bad in school. I used to write my final, then make it worse, then circle the things that I made worse, and then make some pre-writing because I had to turn it in as a whole package to make my teacher think that I actually
did that work that way.
Oh yeah, I was an A student. Like that wasn't a problem. It only became a problem in high school when they started being like, turn your pre-writing in ahead of time, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
Now I'm screwed.
I was gonna say because they know you, girl.
Yeah. So my point is the idea, but the concept of pre-writing and then writing a draft and then editing and then making a final, that is core 101 writing craft in any writing discipline, whether you're writing nonfiction or fiction or scripts, right? Or plays or even music.
Yeah. Did we go into and by the way, y'all, we have community classes Thursdays and Fridays. If you can get into one of those community classes, last night we talked about script writing for an hour. We literally figured out, I mean, we were going through it. We actually made some scripts and looked at them and what was wrong with them and what wasn't, and it was great. I know a lot about script writing, so weirdly.
I just want to point out I wasn't the only one. Wordsmith would do the same thing because the draft would be too polished. And also Dallas Ryan, hi, welcome. Nice. I did that too. I always told them I'd turn in an outline, but it would not match the final draft. You have found your people. We are your people.
You know what's interesting about that? Cassia, is that I wish you could do project stuff like that in the API too, but I don't know how that would work. You can no. You can run a Claude project in API.
What is a Claude project but a Raptor, a wrapper, a plot drive? You toggle on documents, but you get to toggle it on. Yeah. Come on.
No. I was thinking the actual. So yes, you could just use Raptor or plot drive and toggle things on or off because they. By the way, they both function very similarly to each other.
The original tools that allowed people to toggle on documents for context included Novel Crafter, Rexy, and then Sudowrite started to do it as well. So that you could have things that you've uploaded and you could put things in there and all of that. And then, so all of the wrappers from Sudowrite to Rexy to Novel Crafter, they actually predated projects in OpenAI and inside of Claude. And I'm not saying they copy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like good ideas rise to the top. And so a lot of the wrapper companies, they had a good idea of like, well, people need content. Oh, and you can do it in Obsidian too. So that they can, update, put information in there, and you can easily bring it into the prompt. And that was necessary as the context windows got larger and larger on these models.
I'm just reading Harper. By the way, Harper.
Rochelle, this is an important thing too. I would say that Plot Drive, Novel Crafter, Raptor are even superior to projects in Claude and OpenAI because you can very easily edit them. You can move them around. You can actually control the order. When you're working in projects, you're giving that up. You're not even sure if they pulled that document in or what decisions that it made. You don't get to see that. Yeah. So I agree with Rochelle that that's a really good thing. And here's SKUlites. I just wish I understood how the Claude projects chooses to call the information in the knowledge base because I swear it's not calling everything for every single response to it. Exactly. That's part of the problem. So when you are making a task and you're allowing the AI to go pull from documents that you've uploaded, you're allowing it to do the thinking. And what do we say? The AI doesn't think. It's going to do its best guess. And it's best like, I think I need that piece of information. It is my experience that humans are still the best ones to decide what is the most important piece of information to go in.
No matter what anybody tells you, we are not there yet.
And that's why Wordsmith says, I'll let you read that one.
That's why we need better AI writing tools, not just better LLMs. That is true. Because, the models from 6 months ago, properly wrapped, with the right idea of what you're supposed to do is totally adequate for writing. I mean, we were doing it 6 months ago. We were literally writing books 6 months ago with Claude 7 or 7.7. Anyway, Claude 7, 3.7 and Chat GPT 4.0, not 04 or 03 or any of that stuff.
Or 4.1.
Or 4.1, which, by the way, I don't know what to think of that model. Anyway, I don't want to digress, but I just don't know what to think of that model.
This is the other thing too I want to point out. It's a little bit tangent to what Danny's saying here. It isn't because the AI is trying to build a narrative and what we provide it to tend to override that narrative and it gets confused in the projects. Here's the other big thing. Those projects were not designed to write books.
No.
Yeah. The writing tasks that it was designed and tasked to do are all business or nonfiction or marketing or copywriting or contract. I mean, it's all very corporate stuff. And they did not build that thing thinking like, I think creatives are going to want to write books for this.
They're always amazed when they run up on us.
Pretty much. The first couple of times that I talk to AI companies, they'll be like, hey, I represent, 150 authors who are researching and doing this. They're like, wait, we have authors using our product? I'm like, yeah. And you kind of broke it for us. Could you fix it? Could you go back?
and they're like, yeah. And they do. They'll usually double back after we give them a heads up. They'll double back and tweak the actual training data so that it doesn't screw us up so badly. I've seen them actually do it. I've seen us moan and gripe about it, and then it changes and gets better and stuff.
They're listening out there.
Wow, everyone is. I love.
Yeah, we've had some great discussion tonight. Everyone's on it.
Yes, we do. That's why I'm so passionate about That's why I'm so passionate about local stuff. I think we could fine tune our own and have something that does what we want. I'm telling you, we are living in a Renaissance time right now. I'm serious, y'all. I mean, we're in Venice right now. We're Leonardo da Vinci is literally around the corner, making the Mona Lisa right now. This is kind of crazy. Fine tune of Frankenstein. That's a good statement. All right, so we talked about the news. We've informed y'all all about all of our services over at the Future Fiction Academy. Now let's have a little discussion about what we're going to talk about tonight. So Elizabeth came. We have a meeting on Tuesdays, and in that meeting, I usually say something to the effect of, "What do you want to do on Friday?" And what she said to me made me stop. I stopped. I went, what? She said, things will never be the same again.
No, never going to be the same again.
Never going to be the same again. Ever. Never going to be the same again. And I said to her, I was like, what do you mean never going to be? I remember going, what? What do you mean never going to be the same again? And it's about the publishing and the business, the running of a business in an AI age, and more specifically, how authors, individuals can use artificial intelligence, use all of these incredible tools and wrappers and all of this stuff to help facilitate maybe one book a month. So you have 12 books a year, maybe one book every 2 weeks. Maybe your whole job is to start on Monday and have a book out by Friday, like you are a television studio. And then you put that book in your queue and it comes out when it's scheduled to come out. And you have you start building up a following. 2 people reading your book, and then 6 people reading your book, and then 12 people reading your book. And then all of a sudden you've got 150 people that read your book every time you come out with a new book. That is real income. That is a real plan. Well, it's not a plan. It's a concept. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over some stuff. We're going we're going to talk about the ins and outs, the intricacy, a few of the intricacies of trying to build a business for yourself, or if you want to collaborate with somebody and have the ability to James Patterson your way through things. Like say you
Who, oh, by the way, is the keynote speaker at Author Nation this year. So still tickets available to Author Nation, and James Patterson is the keynote speaker in Vegas this year, and we'll all be in Vegas in November.
I have that same dream, Danny. I have that same dream that I could comfortably leave my wife with a very nice sort of catalog, a ability to have money earned without her having to really do anything. I want to have a backlog out there that she can really that she can use if I'm gone before she is, and so it's important to me. It's very important to me. I'm a 54-year-old person, and I want to build something that can go into the great beyond. And the great beyond is, after I'm gone, sort of thing. And my wife can use that stuff. So it's important. It's an important thing to learn what it is to build a business in this new age of a creative business in this new age of AI. Am I right, Elizabeth?
Mm-hmm.
Have I said anything incorrectly?
No, you just had a really long pause after I would like to leave my wife, and I was like, and then you took a little bit to keep going, and I'm like, oh, Laura's gonna kill him.
You ain't right.
I know. I wasn't the only one. Other people say it in the comments. You were working on forming your words. It was just a very awkward pause.
Someone in the comments said I said it like that too.
Yeah, it was better at leave my wife, period, said Daniel Crotty.
Oh, no.
You put the wrong emphasis on the wrong part of that sentence.
Nope. I refuse to accept any of these.
It was a very unfortunate pause.
I refuse to accept any of your judgment. I didn't say it like that.
You know what? If only it was recorded and you could watch it back.
Oh, darn.
It's okay. I've said some unfortunate things too. It's hard when you're live like this. I mean, we're basically improving. I don't think anyone would be silly enough to think that we have a script when we're doing this. We are just riffing. I mean, we have some ideas that we have, but
yeah, we understand. You know what the cool thing about us is, y'all? We've been knee deep in this whole thing for 2.5 years. And guess how long all of this AI stuff has been out for? Oh, look at that. 2.5 years.
Longer than that.
No, I'm talking about the boom. The boom.
Oh, yeah. If you calculate the boom from ChatGPT, sure. Yeah.
Yes. So and there was absolutely AI stuff before that, Elizabeth, but it was all shite. I mean, it was, did I use the word shite? My bad. And then I said it again. I meant it was all kind of crappy, I mean, let's just say that Sam Altman even said himself that he was sort of embarrassed by the ChatGPT that went viral. He was embarrassed by the quality of it. I remember.
I have a disappointed mom face because let me tell you, I have my very first AI written book did not have ChatGPT 3.5 in it at all. It had DaVinci 3. It did not have ChatGPT 3.5, and that book made $10,000. Now I only used AI to make changes to a couple of sentences here and there in each chapter because that's all it could do. I mean, all it could really process back then was to take a paragraph and make changes to it. And I think being there when that was available was helpful for me because it helped me realize, like, I was there when AI was starting to have its capabilities. So I understood how that got built, that it started off just like baby editor and able to change like a single sentence or able to change 2 sentences in a paragraph. It wasn't able to. And all you could do is like give it a paragraph and be like, can you rewrite this to make it sound more immersive or more detailed or more descriptive? And then you'd have to like edit out the purple prose a little bit. But I mean, it was helpful. It was like a very eager thesaurus.
Oh, that's a very good way of putting that.
Yeah.
A very eager thesaurus. Yes, that's a very good way of putting
Yeah,
that.
it was a thesaurus on steroids, because it could not just give you the word to change; it could give you an entire sentence or 2 sentences to change. And then when ChatGPT 3.5 came along, that's when we got the ability to do like 3 or 4 paragraphs at a time. It still didn't. I mean, who can remember when ChatGPT 3.5 did not write you back more than 400 to 800 words in a go?
Hey, you're saying 3. You keep saying 3.5. It did not launch with 3.5. It launched with 3. Then we got 3.5. I'm pretty sure we got 3.5 in February of that year.
Negative.
Of the next year.
Nope, that was ChatGPT 4. Because DaVinci was 3. So ChatGPT was 3.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will accept what you
DaVinci
say.
was 3. So
I will accept what you say.
Yeah. Which didn't make any sense either, because DaVinci was the 4th freaking model. So it went Ada, and then Babbage, Curie, and then DaVinci. And DaVinci had 1, 2, 3. And then, so when they got to DaVinci 3, they were like, okay, now we'll go with ChatGPT 3.5.
They're
then
so bad at this.
Then we went to 4.0.
We went to 4 and then 4.0. Right?
ChatGPT 4.
Right. And then 4 Omni.
No, you're skipping 4 Turbo.
Oh my God! With the 16K. Oh!
That was ChatGPT 3.5 16K. ChatGPT 4 Turbo came out in November of 2024, because it was right before I was about to go on stage. Or no, in 2023. So it was right before I was about to go on stage at Author Nation. Yeah, it was in 2023. Yeah.
I'm still amazed at Author Nation and how crowded your talk was. It was so amazing. We taped it. It was amazing.
Etc. So that's when we got the first 28K model, was ChatGPT 4 Turbo. However, it was not the first long model like that. Claude 2 was 200,000 tokens. That was the longest one at first. I have all of this like uselessly stored in my head. I could win LLM Jeopardy.
That is so wrong, but absolutely right. You could win it.
I still have all of my state capitals memorized from 4th grade too. It's one of the party tricks I have.
I never got my multiplication tables memorized. I tell you what.
You want to win some money off some frat boys? Get drunk and tell them you can tell them any state capital, and they won't believe you, and then you make $20.
Frat boys.
Okay.
So that's the introduction, everyone. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want this to be a hobby? That is absolutely fine. Do you want this to be a business? That is absolutely fine. Do you want it to be just a nice extra little bit of income? You still need a plan. Am I right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that that's what we were planning to do tonight. One of the best places to get business plans, or it can be, is actually ChatGPT. That O3 model. We're going to play with that a little bit tonight. So I'm not even using tools that you've got to pay or anything like that, but I am going to incorporate your first draft. And before we get started, I just want to open the floor in the chat. I just went into the admin section just to see on the launch day, we had 54 projects made on June 25th. So why we say never going to be the same is that your first draft.ai, we do have plans to open it to the public. However, asterisk, comma thing, it will only be open to people who purchase a class that goes with it specifically to teach them how to use it, because it is a very powerful thing. And quite frankly, I just don't want to deal with a bunch of customers that are like, I bought my cheap token and I don't want to have to do any work or think for anything. And I mean, if you look at the song before that, it doesn't work like that. You have to put your story world in there. You have to put your ideas in there. We did this last week, right? With the library.
Yeah.
Even if the AI comes up with the idea, the human has to validate it and say that it's good enough.
What did you say? Let's say that one more time. I did my mantra this month. Say it one more time.
The human has to validate and say that it's good enough.
That is for real, y'all.
John Oliver just had a whole thing on AI slop. I watched it the other day.
And everyone should watch it. If you have any intention of using AI to do your thing, you should watch that John Oliver because it's brilliant. It shows you, I mean, and even the example he gave in the beginning had some compelling things about it. You know what I mean? Because someone took some forethought. And that was the reason why it even got on John Oliver, because someone actually took some forethought and did something with it.
Yeah,
but he
I had some issues with some of his conclusions. And here's
I do too. I will
say. Like,
this is why I always listen to people. I always watch opposing views. I always watch opposing views because I want my arguments.
He was missing some things that if he had talked to some of us, we could have helped him with, you know, like he just doesn't understand. For example, the chainsaw statues that they were talking about, how this is that person's art. And then now people have been carving stuff out of wood long before chainsaws. So I had an issue with like trying to make it seem like that only had one genesis, like one source was that one guy with a chainsaw who had made the one sculpture. I'm just like, this is what happens when indigenous art by other cultures and stuff is not valued. We don't even value like where things come from. We just decide like the most recent iteration is obviously the start of it all. And then a lot of those AI chainsaw art pieces that are being shared, that introduces the whole art form of chainsaw art to people who have never seen it before. Because unless you travel through certain parts of the country or certain parts of the world where wood carving is still valued, you're probably not going to even know that that's a thing.
This is a very good statement. I love John O. But he did a segment on something I'm extremely familiar with. Not saying what to not identify myself, but he missed a lot of nuance and flattened the conclusions down. That happens a lot. That actually happens a lot. And he's trying to make a specific, you have to remember and this is a very good lesson for everyone who is writing. When you are writing to a specific point, he was working that point and he was working to a payoff. The payoff was that at the end of the segment, the guy with the chainsaw comes out and actually carves a thing to show you that thing actually has value, and that the value is being devalued by all of the people with fake things.
But I disagree.
I
was highly amused by the cabbage guy tearing his head off. I was highly amused by the cat video. I'm highly amused by the cats doing.
And I think a lot of people don't care. I think a lot of these artists that are working from this angle of they stole. So did
everybody. That's what art is.
And their argument for that is it's a machine. It's not supposed. It's going to remember everything. I'm like, y'all, come on.
It's fine.
But whatever. We could go on and on about that. But what we are talking about today is the ability for you to actually make some actual.
So let's talk about the business side of things. And I think that that's another thing that was really missing in that segment. So there's a lot of people who have been using AI successfully to get their books into the top 100 on the Amazon store. AI TikTok videos have made tons of books go viral. We have seen AI writing in books that have been in the top 100 on Amazon, for example. And how do we know? Because unfortunately, some of the books left the prompting in there. So we know that there was AI usage and the book got into the top 100. But here's the thing. Do you know my very first book, multiple of my books, I always would do square brackets to remind myself of notes to do later. And I have some books out there that published that still had the notes in there. Publishers have published the wrong versions of books before. The Steve Jobs biography, for example, that very famous, The Jobs with the white cover that got turned into the movie. They sped that thing through because of the movie. And when it first went out, it had all of the like markings in it still. It was still messed up. So I'm sorry, Dallas. Completely bullied out of my favorite chat just for using the Zon narrators by another author last week, even when I wouldn't engage. Crazy rabbit. So this is the thing. We have to start fighting back. And that's what this Friday night thing is all about. This is what AI writing authors is all about. Like, we did the whole part where we're like, cool, you do you, we'll do us over here. But at this point, people being anti-AI are threatening businesses. And there's some things I can't disclose, but I'm just here to tell you that when I say the time is running out, I have bona fide data for why that's running out. The members of the mastermind already know. But there are very big companies that are starting to look at AI startups and wondering how can they best be used to help them leapfrog and get ahead.
And a lot of these businesses who are trying to start their own initiatives are mostly business oriented. So they're having issues when they create their own tools. And so they're looking at startups who are actually building these things and are knee deep in stuff and figuring out stuff that their engineers can't see because of they can't see literally the forest because of the trees, right? They think they're doing one thing and they're actually not doing that thing. They're not doing it very well, and they're probably getting lots of false. It's probably very bad output that is happening right now, and so that's why a lot of acquisitions are happening.
Yeah, and there was a really good quote by Ryan Mather from, I saw it on LinkedIn, actually shared from Twitter, or from X, I'm sorry. Ryan Mather, who I really respect, he's over on the Pseudo-Right team. He's a great designer. And the quote from X from June 22nd was that designing AI products is hard because there's an order of magnitude more edge cases to reason about. In fact, it feels like there are only edge cases. And he followed up with, it's kind of like going from writing a play where the actors say the same thing on stage every time to a D&D campaign where you never know what's going to happen. And Ryan has also a project that's Poetry Camera, which is really cool. And he also works on Pseudo-Right. He's a designer for Pseudo-Right. And I agree with him. Having made a couple of these AI tools now, these tools with vibe coding, these tools to harness the AI, the idiosyncrasies, the nuances, the parts where it fails, you never know when the AI is going to just not give a response, or it gives a response that makes no sense, or
none whatsoever.
Yeah. So you don't know when things are going down. One of the reasons I was dragging my feet on this podcast, the show tonight, is because right before we got on, Joe, our developer and co-founder, messaged me and said OpenAI is having some issues, and I was like, well, I need to wait and see if they can fix it before I show what I'm working on. So, yeah, exactly.
Interesting. I like this one that Wordsmith put up here.
Yeah.
I appreciate the reasonable discussion I had about AI pros and cons with John Warner on Substack. I'm writing an article that will include his concerns and perspective, but loyal opposition is quiet.
Yeah. So some of us are going to have to get brave and start saying, I care about my future career. I care about the future of the industry and where it's going. And dang it, I want a seat at the table making decisions about what's happening, because what's not happening is it just stopping and going away. That's not an option on the table. The only option that's on the table is for you to get in there and to start saying, like, yes, I agree with this. No, I don't think that should happen. I would like restrictions or regulations here. And even then, we're probably not going to necessarily get exactly what we want.
But we need to put some skin in the game.
Huh?
We need to put some skin in the game.
Yeah, we're not going to get anything if we're not there to advocate and say, hey. And so as authors using AI, even if it's just we start making some pen names that we let them take advantage of. We let them one-star it. We tell them to hate us while we're cute. Okay?
Hi, Gracie.
And that's the big thing that the Future Fiction Press is about to do. So,
Ooh.
Yeah, we made the decision this week that we are picking up some of our plans that we had about the press, new and improved, now that we have your first draft. I cannot stress enough how fast how much of a game changer your first draft is. We have some people in the audience. I would love it if you would comment, but some of the feedback that we've had from it and just experiences. I can tell you that me, Mel, and Christina worked tirelessly for about a week and a half, and all three of us went over 1 million words generated in a week and a half. We were running books reading them, validating them. Oh, it's off on chapter 7. Run it again, change this, do that. We probably went through enough books for an entire quarter slate for a publisher between just 3 people.
That means that there is a possibility that you make this part of your business work pipeline, right? And then in making this part of your work pipeline, it becomes a business expense. Yeah. You spend money like you would with a ghostwriter, or you have some type of writing assistant who takes your notes and then writes out in your style as best they can.
Yeah.
The first draft. That is exactly the type of fixed cost that is perfect for business plans. Perfect to pop into a business plan. You know that this is how much this expense is, and you can really see what your profit and loss is.
And thanks to lawsuits, we now know, Bella, help me who the Shadow of a Vampire people are. Bella. All I got is her. Shades of a Vampire. Bella. She was like the #1 author.
Are you Bella talking about
Forrest.
Twilight?
Bella Forrest. Okay. So thank you, Harper. Bella Forrest. We now know. No, not Bella Andre. She's amazing. She's not, as far as I'm aware of, she is not a bunch of ghostwriters. Bella Forrest. They sued each other. Everything went down. This was in like 2018 or 2019 that everything, no, it had to be 2018, 2017. I was still living with my ex-husband when it happened. But yeah, Bella Forrest. That was, every single month, the Shades of a Vampire series was putting out a book, Ikello. This series had over millions of sales of these books and borrows and all of that. Huge. Then it comes to find out it was a whole stable of writers who were working on it. And this is nothing new, okay? Stratemeyer Syndicate is Nancy Drew, Sweet Valley High, your Babysitter's Club books, like having people, the Hardy Boys, all of these great book series that we read as kids and things like that. R.L. Stine did that too, according to Kimberly. So there you go. You don't have to be ashamed that you're becoming more of a publisher than an author. It's okay to go, I was an author first and foremost because I was, writing a few books a year, but now I'm a publisher and I have to think like a publisher.
Sequels sell for a reason.
Yes, they do.
So I literally was writing that down as I was thinking, as you were talking. Sequels sell for a reason. Okay, is there anybody? Let's just we're talking business stuff. So let's talk movie business for a second, because movie business is based off of writing. You have to write the script. As a matter of fact, James Gunn will literally not greenlight a project with DC unless the script is finalized. Okay, so that's how important it is to have a script or writing or a writer. Okay, do you know that the percentage of original content that comes out of Hollywood is so few, so far between? Look at all of the movies that you have this year. I mean, I could literally look at my AMC A list, which, by the way, I think I'm going to start an entertainment channel.
Well, we're going to get another Superman. We're going to get another Jurassic Park. We just got an F1, which also was not original. It was, I went and saw it. It's not original. I mean, it's an F1 movie, but it was not original.
Oh, it was basically, it was a sports movie.
Yeah.
It was just,
everything. I mean, there's only 8 plots, so like we can get over ourselves.
Yeah, we can get over ourselves.
So I want to share a little bit of what Bad Evan gave as a review. Do not sleep on your first draft. You don't have to spend weeks and months learning automation, setting up your own server, and then testing over and over to find which models need what to get the story correct. Instead, build out an awesome story dossier, pick your blueprint, and then you spend your token to get an amazing first draft. And that is literally what we built your first draft for. So that's what you can do with it. So if you're comfortable, Ikello, Unless you want to talk more about the movie business, I apologize. I didn't mean to like cut that off.
Let me just say
Yes.
one little anecdote.
Mm-hmm.
The reason sequels sell is because the human condition likes familiarity. As a matter of fact, I personally believe that consciousness is based off of pattern recognition, and we like the pattern to be the same. We like familiar things. We like it to be cool and different, but we want to have a foundation. That's why almost every single movie has a happy ending. And as a matter of fact, you get to the end of a movie and it doesn't have a happy ending or some type of real good resolution to the story, it feels wrong, right? And so there are all these little factors, and that's why that familiarity and all those books being written about Nancy Drew by hundreds of different writers was able to sell so many books.
Yeah,
because it was familiar. Those kids wanted those same characters doing the same things. They didn't care who was writing it. They didn't really care, as long as those people wrote it in kind of the same way that it was written before. So that's what we're trying to do, is make an infinitely replicatable thing. I want you to be able to create your own original things, and the things that hit, you dive into. You get a hit, you start cranking out books. Boom, 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 boom. That's all I have to say about that. The movie industry and
you start
the publishing
producing
industry.
Good books. You start you build up your pipeline, because we are not. That's the one big thing I love about your first draft. We are not cranking out crap. So, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But I wanted to share, Kim.
Oh, my bad.
I'm also doing this. I want to say that I am also going to go see Dinosaurs Eating People Part 7 next month as well. If anyone couldn't tell, your girl does love herself some dinosaurs.
I'm looking forward to it too. I hear that it's I'm seeing some reviews of it, and it seems like it's okay. Yeah, they're
usually pretty interesting, and now I've just like messed up the camera, and it's like, oh no, I see your chair. Oh dear.
Oh, there it is. It's sucking in now.
Yeah, it sucked it in.
The algos.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. I root for the dinosaurs. I'm like, get them, Raptors. Let's go. You were stupid enough to go back to the island. The only Jurassic Park that I root for the humans is the first one. And not all the humans do I root for.
And probably the only reason I rooted for them then was because there were some kids involved.
That's exactly right. Now we're back in the car.
So funny.
And then June 6th has a good point too. Courses like the 5-act structure are more important foundation for better story dossiers. That's exactly right. When we built your first draft, we wanted to make it helpful for authors. So you can actually, you get all these worksheets in your story dossier. I showed it last week where you can like choose. You can literally come into the story anywhere you like to come into the story planning at, whether it's characters or the premise or your setting or your story world, your magic system, whatever it is, that kernel that sparks. That's why that song was like one spark, one click, boom, there's your first draft. So it's really kind of neat that we were able to build such a flexible tool for authors. Going back to what Ryan Mather says, making tools for AI is like a bunch of edge cases, because everybody's using AI differently, because we're still in that like basic innovation phase. Like there is no one settled way to write with AI. I don't think there ever will be.
That could be a very long time, that innovation age.
I'm sorry?
That could be a very long time, that innovation age.
It could. I mean, I think eventually the models will get kind of homogenized, maybe a few years from now, with like that thinking model or I did look at some of the new, what is it called? What is it called? With the models where, what the photo models are called? The
image generators?
Yeah, but it's a specific kind of model where
I got nothing.
It's a new model that Google just deployed. Basically, it's trying to make the entire piece of writing like it would an image, where like, an image, it picks different pixels, and then it picks the pixels around those pixels, and then it picks those pixels around
diffusion model.
Diffusion models. Thank you. I've seen some of the writing.
Sorry, I didn't know what you meant.
Yeah. And that's the game show, folks. We lost the bonus round.
Okay, so diffusion models, you were saying?
Got it in the chat. Diffusion. Yes, it uses noise.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting here.
So just looking at them and you spotting patterns, and I do speak robot. The patterns I'm seeing is that it's so hard trained on nonfiction that the diffusion is like it's starting with first sentences of paragraphs and then filling it in from the rest. And then and so you get these really non sequitur paragraphs. You get these paragraphs that have no they have no transition or blend between them. Like one paragraph doesn't have anything to do with the other. It's a very disjointed narrative if you're using it for fiction. And that makes sense because it's probably designed for nonfiction.
Oh, gotta get the. I'm glad the dog is making her appearance.
Yeah. And I would say that with AI writing, those are the two biggest, conflicts. What nonfiction writers need and what fiction writer needs are completely opposite. And this is a good question. It is, does your first draft kill off the need for Raptor Write, Rexy, and Plot Drive?
No, it actually enhances the need for some really well positioned wrapper that you can use to edit after the fact. You need to be able to.
I think it kills Rexy. I think because we have affectionately nicknamed your first draft as Rexy 3.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
Rexy. Yeah, I didn't actually see the Rexy part.
Now it's a live stream because it's a Gracie and Dasha have been here.
Yeah.
So we have plans to build more software. I won't.
Don't.
Hold on. You don't know what I was going to say. I'm just going to say this. Like, we have a lot of stuff that's available for the public, right? We have this entire YouTube channel where, let's face it, we taught a lot here that you don't have to pay a dime for. You want to learn how to use N8N? We got workflows for you in April. You don't have to join something. You don't have to pay nothing. You want to learn Easy Peasy Book Machine? You don't have to pay a dime. There's a bunch of videos all about it. We do different things. And I really feel in the pit of my stomach, unfortunately, we are getting to the point where, and I said that this tipping balance was going to happen, where it's not fair to the authors who are paying money to invest in basically this think tank that we started 2 years ago, that are putting in the hours, that are putting in the sweat equity, that are putting in the money equity, and, building things that helps every author out there that wants to just come along and say, gimme, because I'm an author too. And I'm not saying to people who have true need, we understand, we have some free tools, we will always support that. But at some point, it's not fair for an author to come along and just say, well, I'm not going to pay for that because I don't pay for education or I don't pay for things. Well, go find somebody else to teach you. Mm-hmm. Trust me, we get a lot of attitude sometimes about the things that we do. And our leanings for this next year is to really make as much software internal to the mastermind and the accelerator as possible, because we're moving on to the press. So in order to pivot to the press and teach the mastermind and the accelerator all about that, okay? And I mean, every vote in the mastermind and the accelerator is that they do not want your first draft to be available to everybody.
As a matter of fact, they're pretty like adamant about it, to be quite honest with you. And I understand this perspective. I get it. Y'all, you have to understand, we did not build this tool for you. We did build this tool for you, but we needed the tool in the press. We literally needed to have a tool like this in the press. And the fact that we were able to think about everyone else while we were doing it actually makes it super beneficial to you too. But that's not the core. The core is for us to like figure out the best way for people to actually get their work done. And everybody needed to get their work done quickly. And this was one of the only ways, I mean, especially once we got into that N8N thing, we were like, oh, we could do this, that, this, and this. And that
N8N is completely open source. You can run N8N cheaply on
and we've shown you how to do that for free.
Yeah, we showed you. And there's a bunch of YouTube videos out there showing you how to do it too.
Yeah.
So
And all you have to do is extrapolate how you could use it in your particular situation when from what they're showing you with like code or marketing or whatever their the particular innate in thing is. But yeah.
I always said it was going to get to the point where things would happen and it would be a little bit too late to start saving people who haven't even started yet. And I have to say, if we're not already there, we're pretty darn close to it. I have to say that that I really feel like the ship is sinking in the sense of the old way of doing things, and there's only so many lifeboats, and you have to get into a lifeboat. But eventually, at some point, we're not going to be able to add more people to the lifeboats. Like, it's going to be too late. And some information that I still cannot share, and I'm not sharing, but we have struck an iceberg, people. So it's a TikTok to get into a lifeboat.
Seriously, it's these rulings and the way that everything is unfolding right now. They're really getting this whole copyright thing under wraps. We're getting to the point where we actually know. We know for a fact now that if you don't touch anything inside the thing, you have no right to that thing. You literally, if it's made all by AI, then you have no right to it. So that's one of the reasons why I was going on the rant about validation. What else do we know? We also know that we can now train with actual things that we own, right? We can take our libraries and we can put them in and do things with our own stuff. We now have all of these tools, wrappers, all of this stuff. We have tons of resources, lots of education. We are giving you a lot of things to base your decisions on. And one of the decisions is you're going to have to figure out the future if you're going to be involved in it. If you're going to be involved in the future, then you probably need to make some definite decisions financially and like life decisions about how you're going to use AI in your business, how you're going to do all that stuff.
Yep. So a second ago, I was feeling all like sad panda. I was like, oh, this is really sad. But then I immediately got some toxic positivity, and here's what I got. Let's go remake publishing. Ready?
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to hit. Go ahead, do it.
Hold on, I'm not quite ready yet.
No, I was, I've got a marker thing now.
You have a marker thing?
Yep. So I just hit a marker. So as soon as you do this thing, we'll have a section for what you're doing. So whenever you want to do that, Elizabeth, you want to mark something, hit B.
Hit B.
Yep. And it will mark that section.
Oh, see? I like it.
Yes.
I like it a lot. Mm-hmm. Oh, we should have been doing that earlier.
Yeah. I just remembered today. So
okay. So here's what the mastermind already knows. Your first draft is available to all mastermind and accelerator students. And I'm going to zoom in on this. This is not a sales pitch. This is for a math exercise. We are going to do some business planning, people. If you do not like to business plan, it's okay. You're going to learn how, whether you want to or not. If you don't want to, that's the thing. So your first draft is available now to all mastermind and accelerator students. Each paying member gets one free Dino token per month, which is a $75 value. Now, what the heck does a Dino token do? Ikello, what does a Dino token do?
A Dino token gives you the ability to actually write 30 to 60,000 words, 20 chapters at a time. Remember, when you're using these 20 chapters, those 20 chapters can be split up into all kinds of scenes that can be then turned into chapters or whatever. But you get between 30 and 60,000 words.
Yep, definitely the Google Sheets. We're going to have Google Sheets. I've got it. There's nothing in the Google Sheet yet, Rachel, but everyone can see it. Now, here's the pricing for the mastermind and the accelerator students. And we are sticking to this pricing for quite some time. We made it as low as we possibly could. I was transparent on the 25th. If you watched that, if you're in the thing,
this is cheaper than I remember you saying it was going to be.
Yes, it is cheaper than what it was going to be. But we literally went, okay, how much does it cost us to run the AI? Double that. How much do we need to pay our staff who are making these things? And then a little bit more of the margin so that we have rooms to grow and things like that. And that's the price point.
And that's the tightest.
It really is the tightest price point.
Yeah.
This pricing is not going to ever be available to people who are not mastermind and accelerator people. I will not give people who are just coming in from outside who didn't work in the trenches with us $75 for a novel. It's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Right.
All right, you have to understand, everyone. 85 to 90% there. We have proof. We have actual evidence of first drafts that are 85 to 90% there. 80 to 90% there.
Yeah, it's 80 to 90%. It depends on the quality of your story dossier.
I mean, we've got some outliers that are like, on either side of that, but but
I was egotistical a second there when you're like, we have some outliers. I'm like, yeah, me, because I can write something and it's pretty much publishable. Like,
it's about your dossier. It's about your dossier work.
But I mean, I helped invent this methodology, so like, of course, I know how to squeeze every last bit of juice out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have tips and tricks that we're working on for each one. So like some tips and tricks off the bat. We taught this in the outline class last week, which was a great class, by the way, if you missed it. Put a timeline on your outline. There's a tip that you can take right now from the Future Fiction Academy. You don't have to pay a dime. Go put a timeline on your outline. If you want the AI, whether it's Claude or whatever, to keep your chapter straight about, so it doesn't mess up the timing of like having, they already had dinner, but now they're having the conversation before dinner because your timeline didn't have a clear timestamp and delineation on it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think people have had those problems before. Have you ever had a problem with them?
No, I think it's Christina that was talking to me about having to put timestamps in certain spots so that the AI doesn't do that stupid thing where it's morning in one scene and literally it's only an hour later, but it's all of a sudden midnight or something.
Yes, exactly. So it's the same problem. It's whether if it can't understand the time, it'll just make it up. But if you tell it the time, it won't. So we're going to work off of these numbers for the mastermind and the accelerator students. And for those who just want to see, basically you pay $75 for 1 through 9. You pay $700 for 10. So that's $70 a book. And then it's $1,300 for 20. And we have had people buy the 20 tokens because I knew that they would. Once you get the hang of it, you're like, oh my gosh, I can make 20 story dossiers and I could just like go do it.
I'm very excited about my, my business plan idea where I want to put out a season of something where it's like I put out a book a week, for 15 weeks, and that's the season. And then I go and I do it again. I really like that idea, the idea of episodic, like television-like sort of publishing. And this is perfect for that.
There's a question about, can we see an example of a story dossier that works with YFT? That watched last week. Last week, I literally did a story dossier live for 10 chapters on the channel, and it's all broken up into chapters. And I almost want to say, let's see if I put it in the notes. I don't know that I put it in the notes. We've done a lot of lives. I think I did. I put a lot of stuff in those notes.
I don't know if you put it
did
in
not. I put the manuscripts in. I didn't put the dossier in.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's fine because quite frankly, I show it in the video. And here's the other thing. We have been teaching you guys how to do this for over a year now on the YouTube, in channels, etc. Like, it's not complicated. It's just marked down with all of your pieces that you want for the book to do.
So look at last Friday's live stream, and it's around the 1 hour and 26 minute mark where she starts working with story dossier sheets. So don't leave now though.
We're not it's fine. It's okay. We have 76 people in the room. I'm also going to say this out loud. Do you know how much work the staff have done to these story dossiers and how much work the mastermind people will be doing to these dossiers?
My Discord goes off every 5 minutes. In the middle of this week, it's been going off every 5 minutes because everyone's working so hard on this.
Right. So I'm not going to say the dossiers are the secret sauce necessarily because it's what you put in the dossier. But I will say that it is a lot of work. And so that's not something that we're just open sourcing willy-nilly. Now, if somebody spends a token, do you get that dossier that you can download? Absolutely. But you already paid your $75. or you paid your mastermind tuition and all that. So I don't really think that you're going to take that and share it with other people who haven't paid, because why would you? You paid for it. So, and we've always had the policy that if, there's like a husband and wife team or business partners or something, you only have to buy one subscription to the mastermind. We don't require you to buy two. We're pretty easygoing as far as author organizations go.
We have two people in our mastermind who are our mother and son.
Yeah, we do. Well, we do, and they come to classes. It's great.
Yep, it's great. I love it.
We also have a couple of married couples too.
Yep.
So there you go. All right, so let's talk about the math of these things. So I'm going to go over to ChatGPT really fast, my favorite place.
I'm going to hit B again.
Oh, do I have to hit it or you have to hit it?
No, I can hit it. I just did.
Okay, good.
Either one of us can hit it. So it's all good.
All right, so I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and I just have the Plus account. I do have the $20 account. You could do some of this with the free. If you try it with the free and it doesn't work as well because you can't choose your model, pay your $20. Like, there is always some investment when you're trying to run a business. So let's play the game of like the cheapest that you could do it. I do like O3 for business planning.
You haven't changed the screen.
Oh, that's my bad. Share this tab instead. Okay, so you guys can see ChatGPT now?
Yes.
And I'm using O3. I do have the Plus plan. Like I say, it's the $20 plan. I don't have the $200 one. There's a lot of tools in here. I mean, there's a lot you can do with this. So I'm going to go ahead and start working here. I wonder if I can do it from here.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I'm going to give that a shot, the dictation here. Okay. Hey, ChatGPT. I am working on a business plan for an indie author, and I would like to assume that we are only publishing books into Kindle Unlimited with a page read payout of 0.0042 cents US dollars. I also, for my costs, want to estimate that it costs me $75 to run a book that is 50,000 words. It also costs me another $25 a month to have a subscription to Ideogram or some of these other places to be able to make book covers. I'm also going to need a newsletter, so let's go ahead and make that about $40 a month as well. And I also need to have a subscription to Future Fiction Academy, their Accelerator program at $250 a month. What I would like to know, I can also run more books at $75 a piece on their Your First Draft to make those 50,000 word books. I would like to know how many books would I need to publish in a year just to break even with these kinds of costs if we go with the assumption that only 250 people read all the way through and the books average 250 Ken PC. Okay.
Isn't that a business strategy if you do Kindle Unlimited for a certain amount of time and then take it out and then make it so that it's just for sale? Isn't that a strategy? Or is that
there's a lot of people that do that basically test. And guys, don't worry, I'm giving you the prompts in your notes. So you can literally list all of this. So I just basically put together the very basic amounts of money you would need to run a business. If I forgot a major expense, let me know. But I mean, and I've got to let Dasha out now.
Oh, she's so cute. 42 cents varies monthly, but we use this estimate.
Yeah, it's not 42 cents. It's 0.4 of a cent, 0.4 of a cent. It's
okay.
It's 42% of a cent. Yeah. 250 Ken PC for a 50K novel. Readers who finish it, 250. So if you don't like math, look at how it figures out the revenue per book. 250 readers reading 250 pages is $262.52.
Check their math always, but
yes, absolutely. So we'll do that. We'll do that math. We'll get out our calculators. So if you skipped math class, as many of us did because we took extra writing classes, you now have a super calculator in your back pocket that kind of has the equivalent of an MBA education.
Mm-hmm.
It can do all kinds of things. So 0.0042, yeah, I get $262.50.
Okay.
So it's got the ideogram cover tools, 300, newsletter service, 480, FFA Accelerator, 250 times 12 is 3,000. So it has this, and actually, it's not right.
Because of it's doing things in months and annuals.
Well,
and
hold
stuff.
on. I forgot to tell you. I get a free book each month that I am in the FFA. So now it's going to be like, oh, that $250 you spend each month for the FFA includes one of the free books. It includes a free book. So it's now recalculating. So now the expense is $300, newsletter service, $480 a year, FFA Accelerator membership, $3,000. Which, by the way, if you actually buy 12 months, you get it for like $2,500. You don't have to spend $3,000. Total fixed is $3,780. So draft via your first draft, $75 only after the first 12 books because you get one free book each month. Break even equation. Let N equal total books you publish in a year. So the revenue is 262 times N. This is just a variable to hold how many books you would write in a year. If you ever get confused about the algebra, fill it in with the words. That's all algebra is. So revenue is $262 times
Total
the
books
you publish in a year.
Right.
Variable cost, $75 times the total books you publish in a year minus 12 for books 13 and up, 0 if N is less than or equal to 12.
Mm-hmm.
So that's saying how much does it cost to run a book is $75 times N minus the 12 you get for free.
Mm-hmm.
Fixed cost is $3,780 and for profit meaning 0. And it did all the simplifying and all of that. Because you can't publish a fraction of a book, you need to release 16 books in a year to break even. What does that mean month to month? January through December, first book each month, free. Additional books spread through the year is $300 total. Release pace, 16 titles divided by 12 equals 1 to 2 books per month. 1 month will have 2 extra. Cash flow timing, KU royalties pays 60 days after the pages are read. So budget working capital for the first couple of months. Buffer at 16 books, you're only $120 above the break even. Adding one more book, 17, boosts projected profit to about $307.
This is so quantifiable now.
Yeah.
I can see the end of the rainbow right there.
Yep. Look at this, if the draft cost drops to $60, well, it's funny you should mention that because you can drop it down to $65 buying 20. So let's do some changes. Great. I can get 1 year of Accelerator of FFA for $2,500, and I can buy packs of tokens for the books called Dino tokens in groups of 10 for $700. And 20 for $1,300. What does it take to break even in 1 year?
If
With this, assume the 60-day limit on payouts. So you only get 10 months of payouts from Amazon. It'll know what that means. Don't worry, I'm going to share this entire conversation in the notes.
Are you gonna like hit share on that thing and then put it in the
once it's all done, because otherwise they won't have the whole thing.
right?
Do we have any conversation?
This doesn't take into account that these books continue to make money long after the publications. Just need to account for marketing.
Exactly. So just need to account for marketing.
Hey,
Yep.
Here's one. Forgive me, but what if what is the word count for
I
the
just
books?
did 50,000 words, so 250 Ken PC to make it easy. All right, so it's doing some crazy calculations here. Okay, below is a quick and dirty cash flow break even for year 1 with the new prices and the 60-day lag. Okay. We have these parameters. Still grants 1 free YFD book per month, 12 total. cover tool sub $300, newsletter sub $480. So I did put some marketing for the $480 with your newsletter. So if you're rapid releasing in a genre that needs books, you don't have to spend a lot of money on marketing. You can cover it with the newsletter subscriptions and doing organic marketing for your first year. Fixed overhead is $3,280. Draft cost after the freebies. Oh, that's the other thing, because you can also leverage free days inside of the Kindle Unlimited program too.
What is
Draft
that?
Cost,
what is that? Free days.
You can set your book for free up to 5 days every night in a 90-day period, up to twice with being in Kindle Unlimited. It's really great if you're going to write series. Let's say you publish book 1, you publish book 2, right as you're publishing book 3, go ahead and make that book 1 free. So it juices the algorithm. Make sure you're publishing in a genre that needs books. And we've covered that. We covered that in November on the days that Kindle Trends was with me. And a Kindle Trends subscription, I think, is $15. So, I mean, there's really a lot of cheap tools, but I also taught everyone how to do it on their own in the Amazon store.
Mm-hmm.
I've taught that many times.
Mm-hmm.
So only 10 months. So here's the token math. Cheapest combo. 11 through 20 extra. If you need 1 through 10 extra, buy a 1 pack of $700. 11 through 20 extra, buy $1,300. 21 through 30, get another 10 pack, and so on. Each additional 10 book block adds $700. So it's got the cost and all of that, the break even calculations.
Ooh.
We have that 262 times N.
I love that. It's just Mathematica.
Yep. Our total cost is $3,280 plus whatever we spend in extra tokens. So M is equal to N minus 12 if possible, if positive.
Mm-hmm.
This is some crap that I had to learn in Algebra 2. This kind of math used to drive me nuts. I think it was also taught in Algebra 2. Like when you would have those stupid word problems of like, you go to the store and the nut mix is $3 a pound, and the dried fruit mix is $5 a pound, and you have 1.75 pounds, and what's the ratio? Like, I hated those things. I love that AI will calculate it for me. So breaking it down, your total revenue is going to be how many books, which is N, times that revenue of $262. And that's just an average, people. This is how publishers work. TradPub actually has 4 categories of books, where it's going to sound really, really big. So anything less than 10,000 units sold is a lower category, and then the categories just go up from there. So something that's anywhere between 10,000 units to 25,000 units is like a lower mid-lister. 25,000 units all the way up to 100,000 units, that's that next tier up. And then things that are like, going into the millions and stuff, that's like their top tier. That's like the books that go nationwide, Oprah's book list, etc. So when you're working in publishing, you work on averages. So if you have 10 books, some of them will make 262, some of them will make more, some of them will make less. That's what being a publisher is. It's basically making that bet at the roulette table, but you're putting 10 bets on the table, not just one. An author just puts 1 or 2 bets on the table. A publisher puts more than 10 bets on the table.
And we want to make you publishers.
Be a publisher. Be a publisher. So our total cost is at $3,280, which it got from adding everything up. And then the token cost if you buy more. And the break even is when the revenue is greater than or equal to the cost. So running the numbers. 15 books, 3 extra drafts, token cost of $700, you're negative $4,250. But you would have 15 books out there that would just be making you money next year.
See, it's not. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah, if you have 23 books, because you had to buy those extra drafts anyway. If you have to buy 3 extra drafts and it said buy 700, you get 10. So 7 more would be 10. You'd have enough to do 22 drafts. You would end up being positive $1,700, $1,800 for the year. And that's the number that you would pay taxes on.
That's not even including any sales you could get from the book that isn't in Kindle Unlimited. So if it's in Kindle Unlimited, it's still being sold on the site for whatever the price you decided the thing is. So none of this is accounting, y'all, for you having the book as a sale item also.
But you can do that equation like with it. I can tell it, hey, I want 30% of the revenue to be from sales, and I want 70% to be Kindle reads, and it's still, about 250 readers going through the book, and then you can start to see how your profitability changes.
So what would you like? Let's say we price it at $2.99 as just a base. So the like literally the cheapest where you can get your 70%.
So basically every sale is double. It's worth to people reading it all the way through, because 250 Ken PC is $1.05 at 0.0042.
Put it in there. Put it in there.
Okay.
Hold
on. I wanted to finish looking at this stuff, and then
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But when you get it, dictate it to it, and you'll just flow it out.
Yep. So we need at least 16 books to squeak past break even, which is the same number we had before. And it's 2 and 6 months and all that. Why 16, not 13? Because books 13 through 16 force you to buy one 10 token packet. At 13 through 15 titles, the added revenue doesn't quite cover the 700 token without remaining the fixed overhead gap. Title number 16 tips the balances and revenue, pushing cash flow to 220 in the black. So some sensitivity checkpoints. And again, this helps you. If you get 300 people reading, you don't have to do 16 books. You get to do 3 less books. If your Ken PC rises, if you make the books a little bit longer, you only have to write 13 books. If the rate drops, you have to write more books. This is business 101. You can front load them so that you make sure that your break even titles land by October, so their page reads hit payouts within the fiscal year. You can use the surplus tokens. With 16 titles, you still have 6 unused Dino tokens, giving you a head start on year 2, or space to replace a dud. The buffer is thin. 220.
Jeez Louise, this really got deep. I love this.
It does.
That's crazy. Or a space to replace a dud. I wouldn't have even thought about that.
Yeah. Publishing 16 well-promoted 250 Ken PC titles in 10 months is aggressive, but achievable with consistent workflow, and it gets you to cash flow even under the stated constraints.
All right, so we did talk about that other variable that we needed to add in, but you know what I think you should also add in?
What?
The variable of your first draft, because it seems to think that 16 would be difficult to achieve in a year.
Right. So I'm going to talk about that too. So YFD.
Oh, you don't want to dictate it?
No, I'll just type it in. They like my typing sounds, right?
We do.
Okay, your first draft.
Not just them, me too.
But I wanted to think it out too. Your first draft allows me to draft a 50,000 word book in 4 hours. 2 hours to work on the worksheets, the story dossier, that part of the blueprint. And that's like a long time. And 2 hours to run. Then that's 20 chapters, and I need 1 hour of work time. Well, we'll be extra. We'll say 2 hours. 2 hours of work time to edit those chapters per chapter. Okay?
Yes.
Now, I work on my publishing company. We'll do 20 hours a week. Okay? That's somebody doing 2 hours every day after work and then finding 10 hours on the weekend if they really wanted to make a go of this. Okay?
Right.
Or it's somebody working part-time at this, or it's somebody we will.
That's 5 hours a week each weekend day. So you can wake up early before the kids even get up and get a lot of work done.
Well, the 5 hours a week.
No, 5 hours. No, 5 hours a day on the weekend.
Well, no, that's 20 hours a month. I said 20 hours a week.
No. You said 5 hours on Sunday, 5 hours on Saturday, 5 hours on Sunday, and 2 hours a day for the rest of the week. That is 20 hours.
Oh, yes, exactly. It's finding 5 and 5 and then 2 on each day.
Yes.
And I mean, some of that is reading. A lot of that is reading. It's reading and marking it up. Like a lot of people do that on their commute. They do it. And we have some really cool ideas for some tools to make that even easier. We'll talk about Simon some other time.
Dear God.
I work on my publishing company 20 hours a week. What does the chat say? What hours do they want to put in here? Let's be real here.
Yeah, let's be real. Anybody got some suggestions? Oh, and let me just highlight a couple of discussion things here. That's the other thing. If there are if they're in a series, you're combining it. Plus omnibuses when series are complete. That's another product.
Yes,
and then Skew goes, dang, 03. Yes, I know. It really got deep there. Series, yes. Because while book 1 might not hit the numbers, it might by the time book 3 comes out. The more books in the series, the better your sales are in all of the books. I'm telling you, I picked up a series, my favorite series that I can't wait for him to come out with books every 2 or 3 months. I picked up a series when he had already written something like 20 different books, and I was so excited about being able to delve into this thing for a long time. My wife's the same way with television too, so I love a binge.
I'm not going to talk about Simon. I mean, you can ask for Simon, but I'm not going to talk about Simon. The only thing I will say is that Simon says.
Just say it. Don't say anything, Elizabeth.
I'm not.
You and your hinting.
It's fun to hint.
Did you get a quieter keyboard?
No, I just typed softer.
We love you, girl. Hit that keyboard.
Okay.
Bang on it.
Okay.
All right. All right.
So, are we cool with 20 hours, people, for a week, or do we want to go with something different? You know what? I will do this.
What you said, Rachel. What you said.
Working on my publishing company, 30 hours a week, 20 hours a week, and 10 hours a week.
Oh, nice. Did you add the thing about
that?
Okay.
Books can sell. I plan to price them at $2.99. Watch this. I'm gonna blow all of your minds. And let's assume 30% sales and 70% can PC reads. Can you show me what these plans look like? Let's see what it does.
It's gonna have to break out and do some
it's gonna go nuts, but it's also gonna break off of that thing. So using your first draft takes 4 hours split between story dossier. Figuring out how many books can be produced per year based on 30, 20, and 10 hours per week, and account for overhead tasks like multitasking.
Why did it say 209? Why did it say 209?
Because that's how much you get paid off with $2.99. It knows it's 70%, which is $2.09.
Got it.
Yep. So it's like for books and 32, the revenue. Okay, so here's a production map. Draft a 50K word title, 2-hour dossier plus 2 hours. YFD run is 4 hours. Self-edit 20 chapters, 2 hours times 20 is 40 hours. Cover launch task per title. Oh, A+ mock-ups, newsletter segmenting, ads tweaks, another 4 hours. 48 hours total per book.
Holy crap.
Well, thank you. It's got the fixed cash, $2,500, $300 for the subtool, $480 for newsletter, $32.80. Variable cash overhead. First 12 drafts are free, 1 each month. Extra 10 extra drafts is 1 equals 1 Dino token pack. Okay, so it's got that. 70% of gross from KU reads, 30% from sales. KU reads 250 readers times is 262. That's 70% of total. So total revenue per title is now 375. It's assuming 54 sales at $2.99.
Why is it? Why did it do that?
Because I said assume 250 readers, and they said that that's 70% of the total. So 30% more is 54 sales. Because if you do 54 plus 250, you get 304. If you divided that by 0.3, you get, or not 0.3, you multiply it by 0.3. Sorry. 250 plus 54 times 0.3, you get some weird number. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to figure this out here.
While you're doing that, my goodness, everyone is helping everyone in the chat. My goodness, y'all.
250 divided by 304 equals 82%. I don't know. This thing, obviously, it made up the math. So, or maybe it was the money. I think it went by the money. That's what it did. So 299 times 0.7 is $2.09.
Mhm.
So if 262.50 divided by 375, that came out to 70%. So it went revenue. It did not go number of readers. It went, okay, 70% of the revenue is coming from KU. 30%'s got to come
Oh,
from.
yeah, that's wrong.
No, it's not. That's usually how it breaks down, is revenue, not by number of people.
Okay.
Because your KU readers are only $1 a piece that they pay you basically when they read all the way through. But your sales are $2. So your salespeople count as 2 to 1. These are those damn ratios again. I told you. So it goes by revenue. So if 70% of the revenue is KU, that would mean that 260 of it is KU. Almost another $100 of it would come from those sales.
Okay. And remember, everyone, if you're collaborating with someone, then you would have to divide that by whatever your collaboration fee is for the whoever's collaborating with you. So
let's not do scenario A. Let's go down to scenario C. 10 hours a week, 520 hours a year. You only get 10 done. You only use the freebies. So your cash in is actually less. Your cash out, so you have a small loss on the 11th book would tip you positive. So if you're doing this 10 hours a week, which is like 2 hours every 2 hours every day or whatever, there's just not enough time.
Mm-hmm.
So scenario B, now you're doing 20 hours a week. It's 1,000 hours per year. 21 titles would be completed by October. Holy Toledo. You would pay for extra pack, so a $700 extra pack. Your year one cash in would be $6,563. Your year cash out would be $3,980. Your net profit for year one would be $2,500. And you would have 21 books published to your name. 21.
Yeah, that's the part that people probably will forget.
I have 25 books published to just the Elizabeth Ann West name that still make me $100 or so a month doing absolutely nothing, and they've just sitting there for 3 years. Okay, let's look at part A. Let's say it's a 30-hour week, and maybe it's you and your spouse splitting 15 hours, or you and a partner or something like that. Let's see what that is. Assumes you reserve 4 hours a week for admin strategy. So look at that. It's even like, yeah, I know you said it only takes these hours, but we're going to throw 4 hours a week for strategy. Mm-hmm. You can finish 32 titles by October if you started in January. You would pay an extra 20, so you'd pay $1,300. So your year one cash in would be 32 times, so that what you would make is 32 books times 375 is $10,000. Your cash out is your tuition plus the extra thing, so 45. So your year one profit would be $5,420, and that's if all the books sold that little amount. It didn't escalate, which it usually does.
I would love an extra $5,400 before taxes.
Yeah. And here's the thing, all of your tuition costs and your AI costs and your marketing costs and your trip to Vegas for Author Nation or what have you is tax deductible. Your new computer is tax deductible in this scenario.
Oh yeah, I got a new computer.
Yeah.
It's totally tax deductible.
Meanwhile, you're building yourself a heritage, a legacy for other people, for you, for your wife, for your kids, for your nieces and nephews, whatever you want to do. And then it has this weekly rhythm, 15 hours editing, 4 hours your first draft, 4-hour cover launch tasks, 3-hour marketing, 4-hour admin.
Totally achievable.
Yep. And then it had those different scenarios. So takeaway and levers. Time is the bottleneck. Each finished book equals 48 focused hours. Token economics. 0 through 12 titles are free. Titles 13 through 22 cost $700. Titles 23 through 42 cost No. Oh yeah, costs another $1,300 if you're doing it that way. Cash flow smoothing. Front load release January through October, so page reads and early sales hit that 10-month revenue window. Multiplying marketer. If you lift either reader completion or sales copies by just 10%, scenario C becomes profitable even at 10 books.
What?
Yeah.
What did you say?
So if we lift how many readers read it by 10%, so instead of 250, it's 275 people read through it, that would be increasing it. You would be profitable at 10 books.
And the thing that I keep forgetting is how all of this compounds upon itself.
Yep.
I remember the power of compounding interest when I was learning about math and learning about finances and stuff like that, and how powerful it is when a stock goes up 10% and you get 10% on every single stock that you have that goes up, and that's compounded. That's a compounding thing. And I feel like that sort of effort that you're putting into this. So you crack down, you make 32 books in the first year. And then the next year, those books are still working for you while you're making another 32 books. And then you can get manipulative. You can start taking things off of KU completely if you wanted to, and just sell the books as they are, or you could start putting more things on KU. There's so many options.
So here I said, I want you to show me year 2 at these different plans and assume that the backlist will make 1/3 of the first year revenue. This is very conservative estimates. That means that the book that made you $375 in that year 2, and this is not likely with series, by the way, in year 2, it's assuming it only makes like $150. It's making 1/3 of that $375.
Mm-hmm.
So the production tempo, it's going to keep going up. It's going to assume all these things. Token credits, each fresh FFA membership grants 12 free. So any unused from year 1 roll forward. So look at that. So book shipped in year 1, 32. Book shipped in year 2, 32. Token packs needed in year 2, 120 pack. So $1,300. Y2 book revenue is $10,000. Backlist revenue is $1,300. And
13,000.
13,000. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Your total cost. So now your year 2 profit loss is 8,000, up from that 5,000, because this is just pure profit for the most part.
Fascinating.
Now it's up $4,000. Now it's up 887. But these are really skewed. Here's what I want to do now. Okay.
Oh my God.
I want to ask it.
Look what Lynn said. Oh.
What?
Look what she said. Don't forget translations or audio.
Exactly.
Y'all, that means that your stuff from the first year, you could start working on IPing it out so that it becomes an audio book. It becomes this thing. It becomes that thing.
Okay. So we're gonna, I said, I want you to imagine that I will be writing 5-book series. What would be a good conservative increase across series, assuming this was spread on 1 to 3 pendings? Option C would be 1 pending, but option A needs 3 pendings. So let's see what it says, because it has every blog post. It has all this data, all this stuff that indies have talked about for years and years and years about how things go through, how read through, how cross promotion, how it moves up. So binge reading drives completions well above the 250 reader cold start we budgeted. Sell through at $2.99. A portion of KU writers buy later books when they leave KU, and non-KU shoppers often buy an entire series at once. Algorithmic lift. Amazon surfaces the rest of the series on every product page and next in series emails. Every promo dollar or newsletter swap advertises multiple titles. A conservative way to model that extra income is to apply a flat series multiplier to the year 2 revenue we already calculated. Industry data and KU dashboards typically show a 20 to 35% lift once a series has 3+ books. Because you'll be splitting attention across multiple pen names, will dial those multipliers down. So option A, with a series multiplier, new book revenue after the multiplier would be 11,500 plus the 3333. Option B, so it's showing those multipliers. So here's the updated one. You would have a $10,000, $6,000, $1,600, including all the stuff. How to realize and possibly beat these multipliers. Release cadence inside each series. Hit 3+ books quickly before starting series number 5. Unlocks full read-through potential. Front loads editing hours. Consistent branding per pen name. Raises automatic follow button opens and newsletter subs. Mainly design and admin. Series page optimization. A+ banners. Clear reading order. Boost sell-through at no KU cost. 1 to 2 hours per title. Targeted ads to book 1. KU borrows often snowball into full series reads. Variable scale after ROI proof. Box sets in year 3. Extends the backlist. Prep while new books roll out. So,
wow.
As far as businesses go, there's not that many that you can start reasonably for $5,000, less than $5,000. And depending on if you're working 10 hours a week up to 30 hours a week, you're going to be able to put out 10 to 32 books. So you've got 10 to 30 swings at the bat to try to get this right. And at the Future Fiction Academy, we of course have so many we literally meet for the Accelerator and the Mastermind. We meet every other Tuesday just about business stuff like this. Just about, we call it 25 and 25, which we're going to have to.
Do we still call that 25 and 25?
Yeah, I think it's going to get a new name.
Yeah.
Because you
the
can
whole
literally
concept,
yeah,
the concept behind 25 and 25, everyone, besides it just being a check-in, accountability check-in, it is the concept is that we want you to take we want you to make 25 pieces of content, whether it be a variation on the same content where you make translations of one thing and make it 5 times. That would be the 1 book plus the 5 translations. That would be 6 things. And then you understand the multiples there. You can make audiobooks. You can do whatever you want, but make 25 things in the year 2025. That was the whole point behind that. But I understand why we want to change it because, I do.
It was, things will never be the same again.
Yeah.
25 and 25 was ambitious. 2 books a month with current AI tools, because sequencing was not accessible to everybody. Not everybody could run a book in 2 hours. That's what your first draft does. It makes it available. Now I know it's $75, but listen, the amount of time you save, I am very fast writing books. Y'all have watched me write books live on this YouTube channel. I have shown up. I know. I have shown up for 1 to 3 hours at a time to write 50,000 words, and it took me multiple days, multiple iterations, etc.
I've done it too.
Yeah, the fastest I could get it down was still 6 to 10 hours. And at that point, I was brain dead, and I still would have to go through a whole nother edit. By taking that down to where it's automated, that 2 hours that runs, that's 2 hours I could be working on the next story dossier. That's 2 hours. See, that's the other thing. It counted the 4 hours. It didn't realize that for 2 of those hours, you're free to do something else. It assumed you had to sit there and babysit it. You don't have to babysit your first draft.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't even think about that. I should have fixed it.
My gosh. Yeah, that means the math's a little off.
The math's a little bit off. But honestly, it's fine because you should have about a 10% buffer. Exactly. Kimberly's like, those 2 hours could be cover design and newsletters. And that's actually a really good strategy, because by the time you have run the book, it's making a draft, you make a cover letter, you've made a newsletter, you pretty much have written a check that your editing butt has to cash. You have invested in the cover, the newsletter. Like, it's a little bit harder for even those of us who are neurospicy to be like, oh, well, now I'm just not even going to edit the book because you've already done the other work.
Yeah.
So I know you had to do the bat phone, but all I was saying is that if it's running for 2 hours and that's when you make the cover and the newsletter alert, you pretty much have written, you've done
a bunch of the other work that
Yeah.
it's saying is going to take all this other time, and
Right.
you can do that in the time it takes to run
But
those
also because all that work is already done, you really just want to edit it and slap that cover on it and put it up.
All right, let's say that writing is your full-time job. I'm just ripping here, okay? Let's say writing is your full-time job, or you want it to be your full-time job. Does that mean, well, there are 52 weeks in a year, and if you gave yourself a month off, right, 4 weeks off, that would be 48 weeks. Do you think that with these tools that you would be able to write a book a week?
Yes. So let's go back to the planning board.
Hey, answer my question, but I need to be right back. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so I'll work on this. Okay, I work 30 hours a week full time at this. And the 2 hours that YFD is running a book, I can be working on covers and other things. I only want to write 40 weeks out of the year. Yes, I'm European. I take 12 weeks off. Actually, I used to do this. I only want to write 40 weeks out of the year. I reserve 10 hours a week, so 40 total, for reading and studying. So the 30 hours only has to be towards press stuff. I will write 6 book series with omnibus going out, books 1 through 3 and 4 through 6. Halfway and at the end of the series. Assume I am paying for FFA for the year and paying for tokens in your first draft. And also add in $100 of marketing per series. Well, no, let's see. We would put $20 a month. We put $20 a month towards each series. That's 200. I'll say add $500 a year for ads to book ones. Go ahead and show me year 1 with a 70-30 split at a price point. I do not price at $2.99. Forget that nonsense. $4.99. 50,000 words, so 250 Ken PC. Whoopsies. Ken PC. And make sure to put in the multiplier. It would be helpful to break down the hours, releases, and money spent, and royalties made and royalties paid per month. Go gadget. And I'll check the chat real fast. Yeah, much better pricing. I need to be adding plot drive into that formula. Yeah, so exactly. We can watch FFA classes while the book runs. Exactly. I love it, June. Publishing is my full-time job, not writing. Yeah, it's transitioning into being a publisher, not an author. We're going to break the poor AI. I don't think so. It'll be fine. I actually did a lot more calculation than this the other day. And thank you so much for the 74 people watching. I really appreciate you. I mean, I hope to see you in class. I hope to see you joining the June Accelerator. if people buy tokens on Stripe tonight, but when I get off this thing, I will make sure to credit all the tokens that get bought tonight. Tomorrow morning, I will go ahead and credit more. We should have all that automated by next week. So I want to thank you guys so much for your first draft. And I want to thank you guys for running your token, for experimenting. You know, I'm like, this is your advantage. What are you going to do with it? And believe me, I'm giving myself that same pep talk. I have things I can't talk about. But yeah, we have plans. We have big, big plans. Like we always do. This was a big watershed moment for me when I realized I could write 4 books in a single day because I was testing. And by the way, I wrote those 4 books watching like F1 stuff all day. Like I was watching practice and then the races. And then I was watching old races. Like I was just watching F1 all day and I was working on 4 different books. It was nuts. All right, let's see what the AI says. Below is a conservative first-year cash flow map for the plan you described. Workload, 30 hours a week, 40 weeks. That's 1,200 hours available for press work. 50K word title, 2-hour dossier, 2-hour YFD run, cover work overlaps, 40 hours editing, 2-hour launch, 46 hours active. Per omnibus, 1 to 3, compile, formatting, new cover, 10 hours. That's a little bit excessive, but sure. Output chosen for year 1, 6 series, books 1 through 3, omnibus 1 through 3, 18 new novels, 6 omnibuses, 24 releases. So active hours required is 6 series, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it didn't understand 4 books. It thought I'm doing 6 trilogies. Okay, that's fine. We'll work with it. 6 trilogies, people. 1 through 3 plus omnibus of 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's actually 4. 6. I don't think it's got the math right.
I don't think so either.
New novels is 16 plus 6 omnibuses equals, okay, 18 plus 6 is 24. It does have the math right. I don't have the math right. That's my bad. So 18 times 46 hours, which it says up here, and then 6 times 10 hours. Sure, with marketing and all that, I agree with it. 888 hours. What a lucky number. Well inside the 1,200 hours. So revenue model per release is 250 readers, 70% of total, 38% sales, 349. So total gross per release is 262.50 divided by 0.70. 6 parallel series under 3 pen names, conservative, plus 15% series lift equals $431 per new release. That's where it makes the difference. Cash in timing, Amazon pays. Okay. So now we have our schedule. In January, I would have 92 hours, release books per month, 2. Subs, spend subs plus ads is 115. One-off spend, FFA 2,500. Royalties earned, 862.50. Net cash is negative, and then it starts going positive. It starts going negative a little bit because we had to buy more tokens, and then it starts going positive again and negative in December. And so what it came up with is $10,000. We paid 86, or we got paid 86.22. We paid 2,500, 780, 500. So our total spend was 45. Our net profit cash was $4,000 in this scenario. That's not enough if you're working full time. It really is not. There's just no freaking way. So now here's what we're going to do.
I would assume we talked about the amount of the question I asked before.
I did 40 weeks. Let's say I need to earn $80,000 that year. What kind of sales do the books need? And what niche genres would support that?
Really? You going there?
Why not?
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
This is your own personal your own personal business person.
Kimberly said romance, romance, romance.
Yeah, romance, romance, romance. Or cozy fantasy, fantasy, fantasy. Some sci-fi, some like marine science stuff. There are people I know who make 6 figures a year with sci-fi. There's also people who make 6 figures a year with cozy mystery too. 24 books in a year is a pretty good release rate still. Profit paid into your bank account. Cash problems, 84, 60-day lag. So you got to reach 101 before the last 2 months. 24 releases, so it starts coming it up. 349 royalty split.
Changed the name. It changed the price of the book, or did you do that?
I did that because we're not releasing at $2.99. That's a
Harper said something way earlier. She's like, if I were you.
yeah. So here it was like you need 750 pages, so it's more. Each new novel must attract 3,000 binge readers and 400 purchasers in its first 60 days. The omnibus can do the job with 1/3 that audience because every completion generates triple the pages. These figures look intimidating only because our baseline model used 250 completions, 15 to 20 dedicated superfans. Once you're marketing into KU heavy romance niches, 3,000 to 4,000 completions of book 1 in a fresh series is both common and repeatable if you pick the right subgenre and release rapidly. So here are some that do it. 5 low to moderate competition KU niches where 3,000 completions on strong launch are realistic, together with why they fit. Ready? Oh, it's pulling some of my ideas from my memory. Continental Racing Tour. That's the F1 one that I have planned. Paranormal Cozy Mystery. Yep.
Wow, it's looking at your past stuff and saying, well, these are the things that you've been doing, and if you concentrate on these things, man, I like ChatGPT for its memory.
Yeah, I'm gonna say on anything you know about me, but what you know about the market.
I love the fact that it knows so much about you. And I love the fact that that Sam is adamant about it being super private. Like, meaning you're not going to get sold to advertisers. You're not going to get, and because I'm like, I just don't want that in the world.
I don't believe that.
Listen, you know why I believe it? You know why I believe it? Because there is a distinct downside if they go if they have all of this information on their people and it's very specific. Google kind of has, I search here, I do this thing there, I do this other stuff. But the knowing your soul thing is not really cool to me for it advertising.
The only thing that they're not going to have is a public advertising network.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. Yes.
There's going to be one. We just won't see it. They will sell the data to the highest user. It's coming.
I don't know.
When has Sam Altman been when has he been able to be true to his word for a lot of the stuff? They were even going to try because they were doing like the nonprofit, and they were like, nope, we're going to go.
But that was because that nonprofit thing was because regulators in California and a couple of other places said you will be sued if you do this.
Oh, I know.
So they had to pivot. Yeah. But
if the service is free, you're the product.
I'm telling you, but this isn't. The service is not free. It's free on a tier. It's free on a tier, but they get to train on all that stuff.
Right.
That's different than selling your stuff.
It's only a matter of time before the aggregate data is sold to advertisers, even if it's not sold at the individual level. But like, how many people are messaging about mental health medication, and what medications are they querying about? Like, what are the numbers? That kind of information doesn't disclose private information of any one person, but it's the aggregate.
I don't mind that. I really don't. I just don't like this. There's been the social media thing that's happened with social media and the crapification of Google. I didn't want to use the word crapification, but if you go onto Google's site, to search something in Google, a lot of times you got to go way down to get to the actual thing you really want to do. And it could be something specific, and they'll just throw an advertisement for somebody that's similar, and you click through and you don't realize you even did it. It's really bad now.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap up this because I'm actually getting tired, but I love you guys. It's 10:18 my time, 10:19. So we have thrillers was put in there, reverse harem, romance.
Bye,
These
Ross.
are the 5 fresh data-backed KU niches. None of them drawn on your past projects that are currently growing fast enough and remain reliably evergreen to support the 3,000 KU completions, 400 sales per launch that you would need to net $4,300 per release and hit an $80,000 profit target in year 1. Cozy cottagecore fantasy, or fantasy cozy. This is something that is really much on the rise if you look in the Amazon store. So there we go. Dungeon Core progression lit RPG. I mean, Dungeon Crawler Carl is killing it. Got hardback. It's going to have a movie. Midlife paranormal women's fiction. Dark academia supernatural thriller. Hope in the Wasteland. Optimistic post-APOC. Hope punk. Readers tired of grim dark flock to positive survival stories. 700 Ken PC omnibuses perform exceptionally well. So here's how they pencil out. Everybody makes money. 18 new novels, 6 omnibuses. This is working full time in order to make $80,000 a year. But not just that, you have 24 books that are going to then continue to make you revenue, right? I don't know about you, Ikello, but does your job that pays you, if a job pays you $80K a year, does it also like keep paying you dividends the next year, more money?
No,
No.
because you already did the work. in other jobs, you already did the work, so they only pay you for what you do. I just finished a job like that, very much so.
Yep. Hope punk thrives on Reddit and Discord. Dark academia gets book talk. Omnibus pricing. Keep single novels $4.99. Price omnibuses at $9.99 to $12.99 to maximize KU pages and pull in bargain buyers. Limit each name to one adjacent niche so also bought loops stay tight. Pick 2 or 3 of these growth pockets. Align each pen name with a single niche. And then the math to an 80K year 1 profit target becomes significantly more achievable, all without leaning on any of the genres you published before.
Wow.
And I think that is a good place to stop. So I'm going to go ahead and click share.
Wow. You're going to put it in the description of the show notes? Or do you want me to do that? Well, I can't.
You were putting the show notes in the description. We didn't get to the spreadsheet, so I'm going to take the spreadsheet out because we didn't need the stupid stinking spreadsheet.
No.
Can Amazon or Google or oh my goodness gracious, OpenAI did all of it for us.
Sure enough.
Yeah.
It sure did. Oh, we switched positions. That's cute.
Yeah, that's funny. So here we go. Jenna said, I read the Monster Fumble Forest sample book last night and thought it was super cute, and it was my first exposure to the genre. Oh, that reminds me. For those who are not, let me do this. We do have a Notion page that has some examples of the writing from your first draft, so you can see the quality of the writing.
You're going to put that in the notes.
I'm going to put that in the notes, yeah. Because it's just a list. It doesn't. There's a couple there that have the blueprints. To show an example of a blueprint is like in the Rockstar one, but it doesn't have like. It's a good way for people to see 100% AI writing.
Lynn, I love Lynn.
What?
Companies only pay you when you show up.
All right, so let me share my screen again, add to the stage. Not that one. I mean, yeah, their link is there for this, but I wanted to show you the blueprints. Share this tab instead. So you'll see, for example, if you go to Open Canvas or Buttercup Lavender Scone is historical mystery. So you can literally click on it, and it's cozy historical mystery. And then the example is a cozy, it's a Regency, but you can read chapter 1 to see what the writing is like.
I think we did this yesterday on yesterday's live stream. I actually clicked through and read like the first chapter. The first paragraph.
And then you can get that full manuscript, which you can take into Raptorite or you can take into Plot Drive. In order to take it into Raptorite, let me show you where to do that at. Log into Raptorite.
Mm-hmm. Make sure you share.
Yep. So if you go to settings, there's this like little factory birthday cake thing right here. And you can convert your zip file to Raptorite. So if you opened up that file, oh, you'd have to zip it. Never mind. So you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that at all. You can literally like open up that thing and bring it into Raptorite with copying and pasting. If you open it up in Google Docs, it will open up Markdown for you. We'll work on making it even easier to bring it into Raptorite. But
Yeah.
it definitely goes into, you can also upload it into Plot Drive, no problems. So if I come over to Plot Drive, share this tab instead, you can see I have added a lot. So if I do a new project and I do my import button, select files, I just have to go to something that is empty. Give me 1 second here. iCloud Drive, your first, nope, go back, your first draft. Is it baseball?
Don't know.
Oh, yeah, Jackson Gen MD. Port. So I imported the MD file. I can click on it. It literally, okay, that's actually not, that's a blueprint. So let me grab a manuscript. Trash. I think I've got the
Oh, did you pick the wrong file?
I did pick the wrong file. I wasn't planning on this part. I know.
We're winging it, but we're not.
We're winging it. Where's Lavender Scone at? I know I have it here. Oh, Historical Cozy Mystery. Okay. There we go. Maybe. Full manuscript, MD. Okay. So the full manuscript, Markdown, import. This is that full manuscript from the Cozy Mystery one. And if I click on it, it is 45,417 words. And this is the Lavender Scone one. And it has all the chapters in one thing. But you can also like import this into Google Docs, Google Drive, and open it up with Google Docs, and it'll open it right up. So
very groovy.
Yeah, you really do have a lot of streamlining. And I factored 2 hours per chapter. It's taking you 2 hours to edit per chapter. That's kind of on the high end. I mean, I can usually get through with the YFD, the quality of the writing, I was usually getting through 2 to 3 chapters every 1 to 2 hours. So I was able to do it in like half the time.
80 to 90%, y'all.
Yep.
80 to 90% is what we're going for is 85 to 90% is the bar that we're trying to set for ourselves. But if you get 80% there, that's pretty good.
Yeah. It's better than ghostwriters that you would hire that you would give an outline to. Because, I mean, many people have hired ghostwriters before and found out, like, you don't get what you wanted. Not necessarily. Yeah. Or you can't be sure that they didn't sell that manuscript to more than one person. Oh, yeah.
That's awful.
Have you taken one of the manuscripts and run it through AutoCrit's combination report to see how it would compare? We can do that real fast, Rochelle, because I do have AutoCrit. Give me 1 second.
Somebody's looking for some dogs looking for some entrance or exit.
I don't know. Dasha is fussy. She probably wants food or go outside or something. I don't know. She doesn't want to go downstairs.
That's what I left for. My dog needed to do stuff.
All right, give me a second.
Let's set up.
I'm going to grab this historical mystery. So I'm going to do April's. So give me 1 second. Love AutoCrit, by the way. I've been using AutoCrit for years.
No, does it not do anything like this? Does it do just one?
Sorry?
Balloons. I'm just playing around.
You're playing. This might take it a second.
Oh, what's the one with rain?
2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down.
Yep. Now I have not used this one in a while. Let me go blank document. And I'm going to just paste in the manuscript. So 45,000. We are not comparing it with horror. That is not what we're comparing it to. I'm going to compare it to Agatha Christie. And we'll let it run the report and see what we get. They've changed everything. So let's go to Story Analyzer. And we'll analyze all chapters.
Is this where we go? Do, 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 do,
Well, the problem is that
do.
chapters in there like multiple times, so it's probably going to have like a confusion, but it's okay because it's going to get through it. So we'll see what it says. I'm curious. I have not tested this. This might be awful. It might say it's terrible writing. Don't use it.
And while that's happening, do me a favor, everyone. 64 people. Like this video right now so that this can get out to like the video right now so they can get out to as many people as possible. And remember, we're still in our June Accelerator. We would love to have you in the June Accelerator. It's a $249 expense that you can write off in your taxes if you are wanting this to be your business. And we've got tons of standalone classes. Just come over to the Academy. We've got classes like publishing niche using AI. We've got easy peasy book machine, build it, bend it. We've got the romance outlines. We've got the translations. We've got 6 months of the Accelerator for a discount. Gives you a month off. If you want to, you can get the Accelerator for a whole like year for $24.99 and get 2 months off.
Yeah.
And all of the thing. Go ahead.
Don't forget about the 5-act structure, which is more important than ever. That's Rachel's class.
Is that a new one this month?
That was new last month, but it's available
last month.
Masterminds and all that.
Yes.
You said the price is not going to change soon, right? So I can join up in it for a few months.
Price won't change for what?
Can you join up in a few months? But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're saying $249 for the near future for the Accelerator and all of that. And Alyssa and Lynn are right there for everybody who's coming in brand new and getting them all set up. Like it's a really awesome program.
And this one, how to make a story dossier, I'm going to give y'all 50% off until Monday. Okay, Monday or Tuesday, something like that.
It's July 4th. Yeah, whatever day is July 4th.
Oh, is it? Oh, July 4th. So next Friday.
Next Friday.
So you have until next Friday, and then you can get 50% off if you use the code YFD. And what's the
fine-tune class?
The fine-tune class. That's really half off?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. I keep having a problem assimilating this information because I can't believe it's a $1,599 course and it's half off.
Yeah.
So
and it literally teaches you how to make a fine tune that writes like you. Or writes like any kind of information that you have the rights to train on.
Yep. Because we all know how things roll now. So use the code YFD on how to make a story dossier or the fine tunes class, and you've got all of that until July 4th. So please come on over to the Future Fiction Academy. All right, now how's the AutoCrit thing doing?
It's really cool because it's like it. I have to share my screen again.
No, you don't.
Okay. I'm going to zoom in because it's really hard to read right now. So it's still going.
I'm going to take us out. Go ahead.
Huh?
I just took us off of the screen.
Okay. It's really cool because AutoCrit has where it's just pulling all this information for it of basically the synopsis, how it opens, closing point of view, all the characters in there. I mean, AutoCrit is a great tool to make it even faster. I mean, you can edit even faster. And it literally flags the sentences that are maybe a problem for you. So you can make your editing a lot faster with AutoCrit. I really do like AutoCrit as a piece of software. Information the viewpoint shouldn't have noticed or as the top of the mind. And these aren't always right. Double check if you like it. Where the author neglected to filter description or action details. Dramatized versus summarized actions. Out of sequence or protagonist noting something out of order.
This is the first draft, right?
Yeah, this is the first draft. This is a completely AI writing. I'm going to be honest with you. Some of my own human first drafts had some of these kinds of notes as well.
We've got a couple. Let me just answer. Moonchild, you can, if you have already signed up for the Accelerator and you need to leave for a month, it's going to be a little weird because we do the curriculum like in a 3-month period, over a 3-month period.
It's okay.
But you could come back and pick up where you left off, obviously, if you wanted to. But you will not have, at some point, you will not have access if you get out after 1 month to the next classes until you sign back up for the Accelerator and start from that point. We won't make you start all over again. We'll just make you start from the point where you are. So
nope, not even that. You stay with your cohort. So you'll always have access to those beginner ones. So like, let's say you join in May and then you have to like take 2 months off or something like that. Your kid's graduating. You've got a crazy summer. You come back when the kids are back in school. You stay with your cohort. You would message Dean at futurefictionacademy.com to get back into your cohort, or you could choose to just join the newest cohort that's going on. So if you want to start over because you missed, you could. Especially as we are, I was here in January. I was coming back for more than 1 month. I was coming back for like the rest of the year. If you were with us in January, you weren't in the Accelerator. If you paid in January, you are a mastermind member and you need to email Dean at futurefictionacademy.com and we can get you back at your price point of $159. If you paid for $159, you would still get the Accelerator classes to start from there too. We do honor the previous prices for people who have paid us money. Now, if you just did the free trial and you did not pay, you didn't lock in a price, obviously. But if you paid $159 back in January, you can come back at that price point.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we're authors. That's what we do.
Yep.
I thought they have changed this so much.
Yeah. I think they got FOMO. They're seeing other people doing stuff and they're adding these different things.
And that's fine. That's fine. Analyze all chapters. So
wow, this is a very detailed breakdown.
Yeah.
Well, where's the
I used to do things like this one and then the fiction analyzer and like the summary report. Those are my favorite go-tos. Like the summary report was like my favorite thing. This thing has existed for over a decade. It's an amazing, amazing tool.
What a satisfying animation.
Oh, I mean, I like it.
That is satisfying.
I just wish I knew how far it was. Like where it was in the process. Okay, there we go. Auto crit score. That's what I was looking for. Holy crap. Did we say 80% or what?
Wow. And look at some of the sections. 94%, 93%. What's this 54%? Why is that so low?
Because dialogue. The lowest score is dialogue. The quality of your dialogue can make or break. So you can actually jump to the dialogue portion and it'll explain what's wrong with it. So, and it may not be what you're upset about. This particular story has 44% dialogue, which is more modern than Agatha Christie. And if you also look at it, Agatha Christie uses said, and this one uses a lot of others and a lot of tags. So you could choose to change that. Adverbs and dialogue, there's a lot of adverbs, so you might want to fix that. But I mean, so AutoCrit is such a great. When everyone's like, "How do you use AI to edit?" I'm like, "Don't go use AutoCrit. Go use Pro Writing Aid." But I prefer AutoCrit. I prefer AutoCrit because it does like a deep edit like this. And what I like about it is it identifies what the problem is, but it lets me fix the problem. Grammarly will make suggestions for you. Pro Writing Aid will make suggestions. I know it does reports similar to this too. Filler words. I have fewer filler words than Agatha Christie, apparently. I have less passive phrasing. The tense. We may have some problems with the tense shifting that I need to take a look at. The cliches. redundancies.
Yeah.
So this
I
is,
should
I
have
mean,
hit B when we started this autocrit part.
okay, well, we'll do this again. I mean, this is something that can be done. And then here's your word frequency chart. And then the readability tests. Agatha's usually 78, we're 63. And it's the Flesch Kincaid reading ease, which is a problematic readability tool. But you could make some changes. Usually it requires you to vary your sentence length. Your sentence length is a really big problem for Flesch reading ease score, your Flesch Kincaid reading score. But if you wanted to say, check on this point of view thing, I can run that report. And when you run that report, this is why I like the old stuff. It would literally highlight the sections that are problematic for you in the entire manuscript.
And it doesn't do that anymore?
It does. It does. So it will. And so this is not.
Oh, you check the things and it shows you and it highlights the things as you check them. So
Yeah.
you or we, or
if you wanted to check all the we's.
Or the hers.
So it's probably fine. If I want the dialogue report, I can see the adverbs and dialogue and it'll pull that up for me, or just the dialogue tags if you want to change that. I mean, it's such a great tool. So, it looks like quietly was overused a lot. So then I would look at this. He's gone. So I could change that. I would go softly, but that's used overly. So I would be like, he's gone. Captain Hartley said. How about tenderly? Looking up at Jane. No pulse and his skin is already cooling.
Interesting.
So I made one change. So it's like, okay, good job, you. I can click for the second one. I don't think we need an observed quietly here. I think she can just observe. She doesn't observe quiet. You don't observe loudly.
I am definitely going to get on this autocrit train right here.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been super helpful in my first novel.
Yeah, I should probably time myself for editing a novel with autocrit and then bringing that to my calculations for the business expense, and we can add it in there too. I have a lifetime, which they still offer, I believe. And then, actually, I know the autocrit people. I should talk to them about coming on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, or I should, because that's my job.
That's your department. Autocrit monthly is $30 a month, free forever. Oh, you can actually use a lot of free tools for free, which includes adverbs and word choice. Pro annual is $15 a month, billed annually. And I think every couple parts of the year that they put it, but I mean, $30 is way cheaper than an editor. So.
And it does it does a good job of sending you to the places where you need to focus on quickly.
I have to address this. Poor April. She's like, this is from the first run of my worksheet, made in a few hours right before the launch of your first draft. April, it said you were on par of Agatha Christie. You were within 80% of Agatha Christie. What do you want?
Ah! That is true. It's a first draft.
It's a first draft.
You did a great job.
Yes. You use the tools that were available to you. Yeah, Rachel's like, April, you're the bomb. And Harper's like, I think they still do lifetime sales on BF as well. Is that Book Funnel? I don't know what BF is.
Yeah, I think Book Funnel.
Yeah, and we don't write like her these days. And that's the other truth, too. You may not want to be more than 80% Agatha Christie. You might want to use those reports and just go, Black Friday. Got it, on Black Friday. You may want to use those reports to just clean up your adverbs. That's what I do. If you know what your crutches are, you can go clean it up. You check the pacing. It's good. You're fixing the adverbs. You're fixing the dialogue. And you move on with your life.
And then that stuff takes it up from 80% there to about 95% there, and then you
Yeah.
just get your line edit done. Read through
Yep.
the thing and change the things like you want them to be and the way you want them to flow, and then maybe run it through AutoCrit one more time to make sure that nothing went crazy, and then you're good.
What I usually do on my honest to goodness editing paths, if I didn't have April editing for me, is I would run it through AutoCrit. I would make all my changes, and then I would take the manuscript and I would take it to Grammarly. Now, why would I do it in that order? Because Grammarly couldn't do reports for me of like where my adjectives are, too many adjectives and all of that. So I would clean up those kinds of things. And then I was using Grammarly to make sure I didn't introduce any new mistakes. Because sometimes when you're in there editing and you like delete quietly, you might delete an extra space or delete an extra letter off of that thing because you're working fast. So I would use Grammarly as my line edit, AutoCrit as my developmental edit. And I have done that with multiple books in my career.
There's a statement that we because
no, we're not sharing that one.
No. There's a statement that we make a lot at the FFA where we're talking about minimum viable product, and that is kind of a.
I don't like that. No. It's not minimum viable product.
Well, I didn't want to use the real words that were in the thing.
I know that. But minimum viable product is a different kind of concept. The concept that we have in the FFA is because we are all perfectionists running around and we have a bar that is up here. And we have to literally tell ourselves, F it, it's fine here, because this is where everybody else lives. This is where it lives in your head. But everybody's operating here, and here's where readers want it. We don't put out a minimal viable product in the sense that it is an unedited, unvalidated book.
Yes.
We just have to remind ourselves to bring the bar down because we're too much perfectionists.
Yes, that is exactly. Yeah. I was just trying to not say the.
Yeah, perfect is the enemy of done. That's the better one. And Mel says, yes, Thief is so difficult.
It is very difficult. Yes, that it is very difficult because you feel like you should be doing more, but that more is literally most of the time a waste of time.
Like we just had an example of it. April was panicking that we were looking at this thing that ran, and she was like, "That was my first one. I didn't like look at it. I didn't."
And it hit 79 point what?
Yeah, of course you can't edit it. We have to give like the raw AI. We don't get to edit, Yep. And so she's like, "It was the first one. I couldn't change it." Of course you can't. And AutoCrit is saying it's a draft. It is a draft that is 80% within Agatha Christie. Wow. And if I changed it to a different author, maybe a more modern author, we might get a higher score. I wonder if I can do that real fast. I don't know. Okay. We're losing. It's almost 11 o'clock. I'm not doing 4 hours, and we're already closing in on 3. So.
Oh my God. And we've still got 62 people in here.
I know we do. So just to recap, training, lots of big court cases. Time is running out for our advantage on bigger companies that work in content and all of that. Time is running out for getting in on this while it's cheap and affordable. We literally just laid out how you can spend less than $5,000 and have a fully functioning publishing company writing 10 books, 20 books, or 30 books a year.
And probably more.
Probably more. You'll probably make more. You could do fewer books and make more money, depending on your niches. We also show that you could go to different popular niches and actually make more money to where you could actually work full time and do $80,000 a year. Now, I would caution, don't do that unless you have money in the bank or savings or something like that in order to do it, or figure out a way to hire some, if you have to acquisition a teenager or spouse or something like that. If you want to make it your vision, you'll find a way to make it happen. I did. I kid you not, very beginning of my writing career, back before AI, back before I was even EAW, I was working on my first book, y'all. I was working on Canceled. I would literally have my daughter babysit herself. And that was, I would put 2 quarters on the table. And I would say, sit here, drink this drink, eat this snack, watch Shaun the Sheep, and only come to me if you are hurt or it's an emergency. And you get the 2 quarters. And so she would have to do 2 episodes, and that would get her $1 that we could then go to the dollar store and she could get a toy. So I was doing that when she was a toddler. She was like 2, 3 years old. And I was doing that. Babysit yourself. And I did Shaun the Sheep because they don't talk. It's literally the sound. It does the same music over and over and over again. So that was my writing. Those were my pomodoros. My pomodoro was 23 minutes.
You're saying that you made it work.
Yes. Another year, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning before the rest of my family because I had to go do another job and all of that. And I had to homeschool. Like, people find a way to make it work.
Wow, you took it down from 48 weeks to 40 weeks, and we were still able to. Wow, yes. I'm just saying.
I told everyone I was European, and I wanted 12 weeks off.
That's awesome. Oh, Europeans.
And I did do that. I did do that with my career in 2022. I took 12 weeks off.
Yeah, siestas and
I only published 3 books.
But, yeah.
Oh, Beth Evans said, I only did the same training, but instead of quarters, if they don't bother me, they get stuff thrown at them if they bother me.
That's such a bad effort.
People goes, we used to be up at 4 and 5 a.m. Remember? I was like, yeah, we used to sprint together. We used to. I mean, sprinting's a whole nother world now. Now it's like cooperative reading with chocolate and wine.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm totally going to have some wine when I get done with this puppy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's all she wrote. That's all we're doing today.
Hopefully next week, Plot Drive will be here.
Huh?
Hopefully next week, Plot Drive will be here.
Hopefully next week, Plot Drive will be here with lots of new and interesting things to tell us about. And from what I understand and from what I'm hearing in the pipeline, they are very interesting things. And maybe we'll have some updates for you. Are we going to do a live stream on the 4th of July?
I'm available.
I am
not.
I don't know, actually. I don't know if I'm available. I have to talk to the boss.
I think we will still do a 4th of July live stream. At least I will be here on the 4th of July, and we will be partying and writing, and who knows, maybe we'll do some 4th of July writing, like with your first draft. We'll do a book on I don't know, the American Revolution.
Even if we ran till this time during the 4th of July, I would probably, because it doesn't get dark here until like 10 o'clock, so the fireworks don't go off until like 10 o'clock in the Pacific Northwest, because we're in the Arctic Circle up here. So
yeah, I mean, I can do some 4th of July magic.
So we'll see. We will see.
There will be fireworks.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ikello Herod, and I work for the Future Fiction Academy. This lovely, lovely person right next to me, or she might be right next to me over here. I can't tell which way it is. She is Elizabeth Ann West, better known as EAW, and we help people learn how to use artificial intelligence to enhance their writing journey. So if you want to do that, go on over to the Future Fiction Academy. Links below, and we're going to play ourselves out.
Wait. Accelerator, people. Yes, the link is the same link as the training from the 25th. So, Lynn, if you don't mind updating for them that there's training tomorrow at 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern, if Lynn is still in the house, or someone will update that. Thank you. I will teach the class, just somebody else has to update it. And again, if you want to buy credits, I will look at the Stripe tonight, and then, if you buy more, it'll have to be added to your account tomorrow morning. If you join the Accelerator, I will make sure that you get added to it in time for tomorrow's training at noon. So.
All right. I hope y'all are ready.
Let's do The Future's Written in Ink and Code.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you wanted to go out with a.
No, it's 11 o'clock at night. Oh, and by the way, The Future Writes in Ink and Code has a music video on our channel. I made a lyric video for it. Yeah. Watch it, people. Thumbs it up. If it gets enough likes and it gets enough views, I will make more.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we send you into the future. Have a good day. Bye.
They carved their names in wax and stone, spilled ink on scrolls they called their own. Then came presses hot and loud, voices finally unbound. Now it's keys instead of quills, white screens echo silent thrills. Every age has its dissenters, but I was made to bend the mill. You say slow down, ride it like we did, but I've got wildfire under my eyelids. Evolution doesn't knock, it crashes, and I'm already past the ashes. The future writes in ink and code. Don't tell me how the story's told. You can stay in Sophia dreams, but I'm chasing silver beams. This pen's electric, this plotline bites. We don't wait, we ignite. You can guard the gates, you know, but the future writes in ink and code. Used to call it art, now they call it cheap, but I'm still sweating over every beat. The tools have changed, the heart is not. I bleed the same, just on a different plot.